Chapter 710. Hiss. This cultivation method. Xiaofan, who was guarding Lin Rui, looked at the place where Lin Rui was the moment she felt the fluctuation of spiritual qi. She saw that there were more than a dozen spiritual qi vortexes around him. They were like ancient beasts that devoured spiritual qi crazily. There were so many of them and they lasted for a long time. Xiaofan was shocked by this scene. They were not devouring but plundering. They were plundering the spiritual qi from 1,000 meters away. There was no spiritual qi in the area, but now there was abundant spiritual qi. Of course, they were not autonomous and did not stay there. They were crazily rushing to the dozens of spiritual qi vortexes around Lin Rui. What cultivation method is this? Why do I feel that it is more powerful than my cultivation method? She opened her eyes wide and looked at Lin Rui, who was sitting cross-legged and cultivating. She muttered to herself in surprise. No. Impossible. No matter what, my cultivation method was given by the Great Way after the creation of the sky. Yes. Yes. His cultivation method can't be more powerful than mine. Yes. Yes. It must be so. Thinking of this, Xiaofan felt a little better in her heart. Although she thought so, she had unconsciously suppressed her own cultivation method. After all, the truth was in front of her. Although she wanted to deny it, she had acquiesced in the depths of her heart. If Ruolin knew that Xiaofan thought so, he would laugh out loud. After all, he knew that his cultivation method could not be compared with some cultivation methods that were given by the Great Way after the creation of the sky. Of course, sometimes people's cultivation was not necessarily judged by their cultivation method. Tendo rewards hard work. Even if your cultivation method was strong, if you did not work hard, you would eventually become a pile of mud that could only be trampled by others. Sometimes, even if your cultivation method was weak, you would work 4 or even 10 times harder than others. In the end, you would encounter the wind and clouds and become a dragon, and your achievements would be extraordinary. At this moment, Lin Rui belonged to the former plus the latter. Not only did he have a good cultivation method, but he also worked 10 times harder than before. That was why he had today's achievements. Of course, although there were some elements of threat, his heart and determination to become a powerful expert could not be changed. Now, Lin Rui, who had refined the energy that Xiaofan had left in his body, was no longer crawling like a snail due to the value of the devouring heaven mantra. Time passed little by little. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. During this half a month, the sun and the moon rotated, and day and night alternated. Lin Rui could be said to be unwavering. He didn't sleep at all as he refined Xiaofang's energy. Finally, after half a month, the last trace of energy in his body was completely refined. And in this half a month, Lin Rui's cultivation had increased a lot. Xiaofang's energy was equivalent to over 10 years of his usual cultivation. Although it was a disaster previously, it was also a blessing in disguise. Lin Rui was still quite happy in his heart. Just as Lin Rui was feeling happy about refining that strand of spiritual energy, the sound of birds chirping could be heard. At this moment, Lin Rui was even happier. He revealed a smile on his face, then stood up from the ground and casually flicked the dust off his body. Amen? After standing up, Lin Rui released his spiritual perception. At this moment, he saw Xiaofan, who was sitting by the side and surrounded by fiery light, cultivating with her eyes closed. Looking at her, Lin Rui's heart was filled with complex feelings. Although he was angry about the energy that Xiaofan had planted in his body, thinking about how he had profited from this disaster, he became a divine emperor. He was a step closer to the late-stage God-Emperor realm. For a moment, the anger in his heart dissipated. AI. Forget it. Looking at her, Lin Rui sighed. Then, without understanding her expression, he walked towards the mountain forest. His movements were light, as if he was afraid that he would disturb Xiaofang's cultivation. "Brat, it's fine to just stand here. It's time to go to the alchemy conference, right?" At this moment, walking on the mountain forest path, the occasional wildflower fragrance drifted over. At this moment, Lin Rei's heart was very peaceful. At this moment, the little dragon's voice suddenly sounded, instantly interrupting Lin Rei's peaceful state of mind. "You really know how to pick the time. Why don't you let me rest? I just came out of cultivation." Tisk. Hearing Lin Rei's words, the little dragon's figure disappeared from the system. When it reappeared, it was already in front of Lin Rei. Looking at him, the little dragon rolled its eyes, as if it had nothing to do with it. "I don't care. I just want to remind you that you don't have much time. You have to know that within 100 years, there are 2 missions. If you don't hurry up, I'm afraid that what awaits you is only death, isn't it?" A voice filled with helplessness came out of Lin Rei's mouth. At this moment, Lin Rei naturally understood the little dragon's unfinished words. After all, he, the system, and the little dragon had been together for so many years. He already had a rough idea of their temperament. That's right, looking at Lin Rei, the little dragon did not hide anything. Instead, it directly said, as if it was taboo. I know." Saying that, Lin Rei frowned and shook his head. The previous indifferent and relaxed appearance disappeared at this moment. "This matter, I know what I'm doing. Instead of talking nonsense with me, why don't you tell me about the corpse king level ancient corpse in the ancient corpse trove?" That. System. System is looking for me. I'll leave first." At this moment, as soon as Lin Rei spoke, the little dragon was stunned for a moment. However, it quickly regained its senses. However, at the moment when it regained its senses, the little dragon pretended to be ignorant and left an insignificant sentence before hurriedly leaving. F***ck. Shameless. Lin Rei did not expect the little dragon to be like this. He also did not expect the little dragon to be so irresponsible. "Forget it, if you don't want to help, then don't help." His consciousness looked at the place where the little dragon disappeared. After a helpless sigh, he temporarily threw all the troubles in his mind to the back of his mind. Roar! Just as Lin Rei was silent, a deafening roar of a beast came from the forest not far ahead. In response, Lin Rei, who was awakened, slightly raised the corner of his mouth to reveal a smile and said, "It's you." As he spoke, Lin Rei used his cultivation and teleported. In the next second, Lin Rei's figure disappeared on the spot. At this moment, where Xiaofan was, the flames around Xiaofan, who was in the midst of cultivation, began to converge at this moment. With a soft groan, Xiaofan, whose eyes were tightly closed, slowly opened her eyes at this moment. Phew! Xiaofan, who let out a long breath, slowly stood up. She raised her head to look at the moonlight hanging high in the sky and revealed a relaxed smile. However, at this moment, just as Xiaofan was feeling relaxed, she thought of Lin Rei and immediately turned to look at the place where Lin Rei was cultivating. At this moment, except for a mark, Lin Rei, who was sitting there, had disappeared. What's going on? Where did Lin Rei go? Xiaofang's heart sank when Lin Rei disappeared. At the same time, she kept asking herself where Lin Rei went. How can this be? Could it be? At this moment, she suddenly thought of her previous actions. She couldn't help but associate Lin Rei's disappearance with the energy that she had used on him. Of course, she didn't mean that Lin Rei would die because of that energy. She was afraid that Lin Rei would share the burden with her because of that energy, and the two of them would no longer have any connection in the future. At this moment, Xiaofan panicked. She was afraid and regretful. She was afraid that Lin Rei would leave just like that and ignore her in the future. However, in the mountain forest not far from here, the Lin Rei that she was looking for was currently carrying a huge four-legged demonic beast that looked like a rhinoceros on his back. He was currently walking in her direction. Along the way, Lin Rei was happily singing a little tune. If those old ancestors and disciples of the sects in the outer layer of the divine realm were to see Lin Rei's current appearance, they would probably go crazy. After all, in their minds, Lin Rei was a demon that killed people without batting an eyelid. He was a devil, an Asura, a demon that could lock souls, and a demon that could kill gods and immortals. Hee. This demonic beast shouldn't taste too bad, right? Lin Rei, who was walking, turned his head and looked at the demonic beast on his back. For a moment, he was looking forward to the taste of roasted meat. However, he didn't know that because of his sudden disappearance, Xiaofan, who had just woken up, was already very anxious. At this moment, Xiaofang's entire body was emitting a dispirited aura. Her body was limp as she sat on the ground. Her face was filled with disappointment as she muttered to herself, "Could it be that I really did something wrong?" At this moment, Lin Rei, who was carrying the demonic beast's corpse, had already arrived behind her. However, when he saw her in such a state and her words, Lin Rei's dissatisfaction towards her disappeared in an instant. Looking at her, Lin Rei said, "Yes, you did something wrong. You have the cultivation of the sage realm. I am only a god emperor with a low cultivation. You have such a huge amount of energy. If it was an ordinary god emperor, his body would have exploded and he would have died the moment he was imbued with energy. In the end, his meridians would have been damaged and he would have lost his cultivation. It wouldn't be too much to ask." "Ah! Lin Rei!" A scream came from Xiaofang's mouth. Whoosh! Xiaofan, who was screaming, bounced up from the ground in the blink of an eye. A phantom appeared, and her body was already hanging on Lin Rei's body. Their eyes met. Looking at Lin Rei, Xiaofang's dispirited aura and the disappointment on her face completely disappeared. Instead, she was filled with joy. "I won't mess around anymore. I won't." The way the evil phoenix was behaving, combined with her words, caused Linley to be stunned. A hint of redness crept onto his face from the evil phoenix's actions. "Damn, it can't be." Lin Rei, who felt that something was wrong with himself, hurriedly circulated his cultivation technique and forcefully suppressed his abnormality. Kakik, a clear and melodious bell-like sound entered his ears at this moment. At this moment, Xiaofan, who had her hands around Lin Rei's neck and her legs around Lin Rei's body, smiled happily when she felt Lin Rei's abnormality. Although Lin Rei used his cultivation to suppress his abnormality the moment it appeared, Xiaofan was a sage state expert. She could still feel Lin Rei's abnormality. Little brother, what's wrong with you? Your heart is beating so fast and your face is red. Are you sick?" At this moment, Lin Rei really wanted to find a hole in the ground to hide in. He knew that Xiaofan had already sensed something, and her words had already made the matter clear. However, Lin Rei really did not know how to deal with her. I'm going to roast the meat." After saying that, Linley forcibly activated his cultivation base. A trembling force appeared, expelling the evil phoenix from his body. Then, he fled like a wisp of smoke. Kakik, laughter sounded again. Xiaofan, who was shaken down by Lin Rei's cultivation, did not chase after Lin Rei. Instead, she stood where she was and watched Lin Rei's every move with a smile. Boom! At this moment, Lin Rei, who had escaped, found an open space and took out a dozen spiritual fruits and some spiritual herbs from his storage ring. He stuffed them all into the demonic beast's stomach. Then, the illusory spirit blood fire appeared and started to roast the demonic beast. Sizzle! the demonic beast that was enveloped by the illusory spirit blood fire felt uncomfortable. At this moment, sizzling sounds could be heard. Soon, a meaty aroma filled the air, mixed with the fragrance of fruits. On the other hand, the evil phoenix's mouth began to move after smelling the aroma. Its eyes were glued to the roasted meat in the illusory spirit blood fire. Its drooling face was exposed. After eating, we will immediately head to Jade City to participate in the alchemy conference. After that, I will go to the ancient corpse vault. You will wait in Jade City. The sudden sentence stunned Xiaofan. However, she frowned and retorted, "No, I will go with you to the alchemy conference and the ancient corpse vault. Whether you agree or not, I will follow you." At this moment, Xiaofang's tone was firm and there was no room for negotiation. Looking at Xiaofan, Lin Rei sighed and said, Okay, don't you. Anyway, if you don't want me to go, I can go myself. You have to know that I dare and will do it." Lin Rei felt helpless after hearing Xiaofang's words. Xiaofan was right. He could not stop her at all. Sigh. Looking at her, Lin Rei sighed and shook his head. Then, he did not say anything. Just like that, Lin Rei did not stop Xiaofan from making her decision. At the same time, he could not stop her. 5 minutes later, a meaty aroma filled the air. After smelling it, Lin Rei quickly put away the illusory spirit blood fire and turned around to pick up Xiaofan. "The meat is ready. Come and eat." After eating, we can go on our way. Xiaofan was speechless after hearing Lin Rei's words. However, she still stood up and came to the side of the roast meat. Although his words were unpleasant, the charm of the roast meat had completely forgotten about Lin Rei's words. Chapter 7:11. Delicious, too delicious. Xiaofan sat down and stretched out her hand. Suddenly, a knife made of spiritual energy appeared and chopped off one of the monster's legs. With a wave of her hand, the monster's leg fell into Xiaofang's hand. Looking at the goblet of appetite in his hand, the evil phoenix started drooling. Without even thinking, he took a bite. Sizzle, suddenly, oil splattered in all directions. In her hand, the oil on the monster's leg smoothed out the ice. The giant leg almost fell to the ground. Demonic phoenix's actions completely stunned the nearby Linley. This was the first time he had seen such a bold, unrestrained display of power. However, he saw a satisfied smile on Xiaofang's face as she continued to stuff the meat into her mouth. Lin Rei suddenly felt a sense of satisfaction in his heart. This feeling made Lin Rei a little uncomfortable. However, it was undeniable that at the very first moment, Lin Rei wanted to stay in this moment forever. However, the moment this thought arose, Lin Rei immediately killed it in the cradle. He knew that he could not do this. He still had his blindness. His eyes had not recovered, and he had not avenged Haotian for destroying his eyes. He had not completed the mission in 100 years, and his cultivation had not reached the peak. He really wanted to waste everything he had done. More importantly, if he did not hurry up and complete the mission in 100 years, he would die. He did not want to die. He still had a lot of things to do. He still had to protect his family, his lover, his son, and everything he wanted to protect. Phew, at this moment, Lin Rei thought a lot. Thinking about so many things, Lin Rei felt the burden in his heart become heavier. At this moment, he even felt like he was suffocating. Aren't you going to eat? At that moment, the evil phoenix, who was happily munching on a large piece of lotus flower, suddenly sensed Linley's odd behavior. It immediately stopped eating and turned to Linley. Yes. You go ahead, I don't really want to eat. At this moment, Lin Rei, who was brought back to reality by Xiaofang's words, smiled and said, hurry up and eat. Once you're done, we'll leave this place. TSK. I know, you're so long-winded. Looking at Linley, the demonic phoenix no longer paid him any attention. Once more, her gluttonous nature returned, and she simply couldn't stop eating. Lin Rei, whose heart had been heavy because of those heavy burdens, instantly relaxed a little when he saw Xiaofan like this. Time passed by slowly. An hour later, the 4-meter-long horned tiger was eaten clean by the slender and beautiful Xiaofan. Not bad. At this time, Xiaofan, who had just put down the last remaining bone, licked the meat oil on her fingers and nodded with a happy and satisfied smile. At this moment, Lin Rei was dumbfounded as he watched Xiaofan finish the entire horned tiger bite by bite. Even he would not be able to eat such a huge amount of food, and yet the evil phoenix still managed to finish it. What's wrong? You're not letting me eat this little thing? The look on Linley's face caused the delightful demonic phoenix to feel suspicious. No, I wouldn't dare. With that, Lin Rei stood up and straightened his messy clothes. Then, he lowered his head and said to Xiaofan, let's go. Since you're full, let's go back. We've wasted so much time here. It's time to go back to Qiong City. With that, he didn't wait for Xiaofan and walked toward the Danzong Sect's purple bamboo garden without looking back. Hey! Wait for me. Lin Rei's sudden departure caught Xiaofan a little off guard. However, she didn't hesitate. She stood up and released her cultivation. In an instant, she disappeared from the spot and chased after Lin Rei. Demonic beasts usually had the habit of dozing off after eating their fill. Although the evil phoenix wasn't a demonic beast and was a divine beast, it was still a beast. Therefore, a wave of sleepiness surrounded the evil phoenix. In the purple bamboo garden, Chu Xi and Yun Kai sat cross-legged at the entrance and smiled at Chu Tiansheng. Master, young master isn't back yet. You come here 4 or 5 times a day. How could I lie to you? He's not here again. Then tell me, where did Cultivator Lin go? The alchemy conference is in less than a month. That supreme-level alchemist isn't here yet. Tell me. Hearing her master's words, Chu Xi's smile widened. Master, don't worry. Young master is very punctual. Since he said he would go, there won't be a problem. Moreover, isn't it just an alchemy conference? I believe young master can win without any effort. You can rest assured. Oh. Seeing his disciple's confident face, Chu Tiansheng's worry inexplicably lessened at this moment. He knew the nature of his disciple, whom he had nurtured for 1,000 years. However, at the same time, he was worried. After all, this was related to the future development of the sect. How about this, master? You go back first. When young master comes back, I'll inform you. You see, you keep coming here and I've delayed your matters. I've wasted your time. What do you think? Hearing this, Chu Tiansheng pondered for a moment. Then, he nodded and agreed. Okay, let's do that. But, the moment Cultivator Lin comes back, remember to inform me. Remember. Got it. Seeing her master so anxious, Chu Xi smiled bitterly. Okay, I'm leaving. Seeing that there was nothing else to do, Chu Tiansheng turned and walked out. At this moment, looking at her master's back, the tip of Chu Xi's nose twitched. She quickly stood up and jumped behind Chu Tiansheng. She silently followed behind him and sent him out of the bamboo garden. How could Chu Tiansheng not know Chu Xi behind him? Tears flowed from his old eyes. He looked just like a parent who was about to part with his child. His heart was filled with reluctance, but there was nothing he could do. Phew, at the door, Chu Tiansheng didn't look back. With his back facing Chu Xi, he let out a long breath. After forcing himself to calm down, he said, "Okay, you don't have to send me off. Remember, even if you follow Cultivator Lin, this is still your home. It was, it is, and it will be in the future. I will always wait for you to come back." With that, without waiting for Chu Xi to speak, Chu Tianxing disappeared at the door of the bamboo garden. Woo! At this moment, the teary-eyed Chu Xi couldn't see clearly. However, she still watched her master leave. Chu Xi didn't say anything before he left. But in the next moment, Chu Xi couldn't bear it anymore and let out a cry of pain. Woo! Master! Master! At that moment, in Chu Xi's mind, all the scenes of him being together with Chu Tianxing flashed through his mind. She was happy and unhappy. Happy, sad, and all kinds of memories and images swarmed into his mind like a swarm of bees. Sigh. At this moment, in the bamboo garden, Yun Kai was standing behind Chu Xi. Seeing her fiancé in such a state, her heart was filled with torment and pain. At this moment, she even began to pray that she could share this pain with Chu Xi. "Hey, Lin Rei, damn, what's going on?" At this moment, not too far away from the bamboo garden, Linli and Demonic Phoenix, who had just returned from the back mountains, saw each other. Demonic Phoenix was just about to say something when Linli cursed. What's wrong?" Lin Rei's words piqued Xiaofang's curiosity. She immediately raised her cultivation and stood side by side with Lin Rei. She looked at the bamboo garden and saw Chu Xi standing there with tears in her eyes. Damn, it can't be, right? Seeing this scene, Xiaofan was stunned. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. Maybe what you saw is like this." With that, Lin Rei walked towards Chu Xi. He didn't know what was going on, but he had thought that if Chu Xi was being bullied, he would fight back. After all, if she was bullied after following him, then it wouldn't be a slap to Chu Xi's face, but a slap to his. What's going on? At this moment, Lin Rei, who had come to Chu Xi's side, had already retracted his warm aura. At this moment, he was exuding a suffocating cold aura. This aura would make any cultivator below the God Emperor realm tremble and stiffen. Of course, if they were below the God Emperor realm, it would be even more obvious. If it was a light case, they would become retarded, and if it was a heavy case, they would die. This was because Lin Rei had already activated his killing intent. One should know that once Lin Rei activated his killing intent, millions of corpses would fall. Mountains of corpses, seas of blood, and bones would clatter. Young master. The sudden voice caused Chu Xi, who was crying, to be stunned. When she saw that the person who had come was Linli, who had disappeared for a period of time, Chu Xi immediately stopped crying. She wiped away the tears on her face and hurriedly bowed. Tell me, who bullied you? Tell me, I will kill them in a matter of minutes." Hearing Lin Rei's words, Chu Xi looked at him in confusion. She said, No one bullied me. No one. His divine sense observed Chu Xi's expression and every move. His face was full of confusion. If no one bullied you, then why are you crying? Tell me, don't be afraid. Even if this isn't our Xuanzong sect, even if this is the Danzong sect, as long as you tell me who bullied you, I will kill them. Even if I can't. Isn't there still Xiaofan? That's right. Tell me, who is it? At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, Xiaofan hurriedly stepped forward and puffed out her voluptuous chest. Her face was full of disdain. Hearing this, Chu Xi was stunned. She didn't know what to say. The scene was silent. No one said anything. They just looked at each other blankly. At this moment, while everyone was still in a daze, a voice suddenly sounded. Instantly, Lin Rei was embarrassed. Young master, Senior Xiaofan, both of you have misunderstood. At this moment, Yun Kai, who had been standing in the bamboo garden, saw this scene and hurriedly stepped forward to explain. It's like this. This was how Cloudy explained the entire situation. At this moment, Linley and Demonic Phoenix both smiled awkwardly and politely, causing Cloudy and Chu Ci to feel the urge to laugh out loud. A few minutes later, Yun Kai told Linley the entire story without missing a single word. By then, Linley was also aware of the situation. In an instant, he snapped at Chu Ci. I say, kid, can't you be a little more manly? It's not like we'll never see each other again. Do you have to cry like that? You made me think that you were bullied. Yeah. 6 At this moment, Xiaofan also said, in the future, let's make things clear first. You made us look like idiots just now. With that, Xiaofan left. She walked towards the bamboo garden. At this moment, although the two of them seemed to be reprimanding each other, in the eyes of Chu Ci and Yun Kai, their hearts were radiating warmth. They knew that Lin Rei and Yun Kai were only acting this way because they were afraid that they would be bullied. That. I'm sorry. I was wrong. It won't happen again. At this moment, seeing Lin Rei and Yun Kai like this, Chu Ci scratched his head and smiled awkwardly. That's enough. Seeing Chu Ci like this, Linley said, the matter is over. Don't bring it up again. Today's matter is only known to the 4 of us. If I hear it from a 5th person, A moment ago, he was full of concern, but the next second, he threatened. Yes. Yes, I understand. Seeing this master of his acting this way, he felt helpless. Although he seemed to be speaking softly, he didn't feel any coldness at all. Okay, since that's the case, go pack up and we'll set off for Cheongzhou. Now? At this moment, Lin Rei was simply speaking the truth. Chu Ci wasn't prepared at all. Previously, he had promised his master to inform Lin Rei as soon as he returned, but now, not bad? After hearing Yun Kai's words, he immediately understood what was going on. I know your master asked you to inform him, but I have my reasons for doing so. With that, Lin Rei's divine sense locked onto Chu Ci. With a serious expression, he said, since you've recognized me as your master, and this is the alchemy conference, I plan to arrive at Cheongzhou City in advance and teach you the techniques, knowledge, recipes, and experience of alchemy. Of course, if you don't want to learn, I can. No, I want to learn. Young master, I want to learn. I really want to. At this moment, Chu Ci didn't care about the task Chu Tiansheng had given him. At this moment, he only wanted to arrive at Cheongzhou City as soon as possible. Then, he would start learning Lin Rei's alchemy skills. Seeing Chu Ci's current appearance, everyone couldn't help but burst into laughter. Lin Rei was very pleased with his thirst for knowledge. Chapter 7:12. Alright, go and pack up. After saying these words to everyone, Linley himself didn't move. He just stood there, waiting for them to come. Apart from Lin Rei, the other 3 people walked into the room and came out after a while to look at them. Lin Rei smiled and didn't say anything. He leaped up and flew in the direction of the Danzong sect. At this moment, Chu Tiansheng was in the main hall, waiting for his disciple to send him a message. However, he didn't know that Chu Ci had already brought Lin Rei to Jade City ahead of time. Jade City was a lawless area. All the big sects and guilds had their own encampments there. Even some small sects had their own encampments there. To put it nicely, Jade City was a place where cultivators gathered. To put it bluntly, Jade City was a place where cultivators gathered. In this place, whether it was trading, shops, alchemy, or selling pills, there were all kinds of businesses. Here, there were people who occupied, killed, and robbed. It could be said that this place was not inferior to an advanced cultivation world. Of course, there were also ordinary people in Jade City. There were no restrictions on killing or robbing in this city. However, these two things weren't allowed. This was a rule that all the big sects, guilds, and small sects had come to an agreement. That was, no one was allowed to harm ordinary people in Jade City. If someone violated this rule, the person who did it would become the public enemy of all the cultivators in Jade City. They would be hunted to the ends of the earth and wouldn't stop until they were killed. If the person who killed was a disciple of a sect or guild, his sect or guild would take the initiative to remove him from the sect and personally issue a kill order to kill him. It was also because of this that Jade City became a lawless area. Here, you could squander as much as you wanted. It could be said that this was a money-squandering den for all the big sections. Outside Jade City, there was a blind young man holding a water-patterned folding fan in his hand. Although he couldn't be described as handsome, his light red eyes and his white and slightly purple hair made him stand out in the crowd. At this moment, there were two women and a man following behind the young man. The man looked delicate and had a scholarly air about him, giving people the impression that he was a well-read person who was not good at cultivation. As for the two women, one of them was dressed in fiery red. Her face was covered with a piece of red cloth, but her figure was indescribably good. Just by looking at her figure, she was able to attract the attention of the surrounding people, and all of them were focused on her. As for the other woman, she also had a similar figure and was extremely beautiful. However, her expression was ice-cold, giving off a feeling that she was unapproachable and unapproachable. "Young master, we've arrived at Jade City." At this moment, the young man behind him stepped forward and spoke. "Yes. Got it." Hearing this, the young man opened his fan. Because of his scholarly robes and his blindness, he gave off an extremely weak and flawless feeling. "Hey, Lin Ray, what are we doing now?" At that moment, the red-clothed woman behind him spoke. Her tone was filled with displeasure. These four people were none other than Lin Ray's group from the Danzong sect. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was walking forward, heard Xiaofang's words and stopped. He turned around and stared at her with his divine sense. With a smile on his face, he said, "Let's enter the city and have some fun during this time." Ah. Really? Some people were happy about Lin Ray's words, while others were confused. For example, when Hong Lian heard Lin Ray's words, her displeasure was written all over her face, but when she heard Lin Ray's words, she was instantly excited to the point where she could not suppress her excitement. Of course, Xiaofan was excited, but Chu Xi was confused. She looked at Lin Ray in disbelief, as if to say, "Are you serious?" "Ha! I'm only talking about Xiaofan, Yun Kai, and me. As for you, Chu Xi, before the alchemy conference begins, you must learn what I taught you and refine a trace of the illusory spirit blood fire I gave you. If you can refine it, there will be some earth-shaking changes in your alchemy." "Oh, I understand." Hearing this, Chu Xi nodded. Although she was a little disappointed, when she thought about the fact that she would be able to see her grade, her disappointment disappeared at this moment. "Okay, since that's the case, let's go." Seeing that no one had any objections and that the division of labor was completed, Lin Ray did not linger any longer. Instead, he led the group to the city gate of Jade City. At this moment, the city gate was different from other cities. There were no guards here. It was open all day and no one was in charge of it. When Lin Ray arrived at the city gate, he couldn't help but stop for no other reason. It was because in the past, whenever he entered a city, he would be cut down by people looking for trouble. Regarding this, even Lin Ray himself was a little puzzled. He didn't know if he had a bad constitution or something, but it was always like this. At this moment, without these people blocking the way, he was actually a little unaccustomed. When Chu Xi, who was following behind him, saw Lin Rei stop, she thought that he was sighing at the grandeur of Jade City's city walls. However, she didn't know that Lin Rei's stop had nothing to do with her appearance. Of course, after the pause, Lin Rei resumed his movement. He led Chu Xi into this place that was commonly known as the Three Unregulated Places. The three unregulated places were places that would not be managed by the Empire, the sects, or anyone else. I'm here. 10,000-year-old blood Lingji mushroom, 10,000-year-old blood vermilion fruit. Only 100 low-grade divine crystals. If you miss this village, you won't find this shop again. Mid-grade divine weapon, great discount. 3,000 mid-grade divine crystals, great discount, I'm here. At this moment, Lin Rei's group, who had just entered the city, heard the voices hawking the heavenly treasures that they were talking about. For a moment, Lin Rei's face revealed a trace of a smile. 10,000-year-old blood Lingji mushroom. TSK, this thing is not bad. Of course, this was merely not bad. If this was 1,000 years ago when Lin Rei had just entered the divine world, this 10,000-year-old blood Lingji mushroom would still be a little attractive. But now? That was not necessarily the case. At this moment, Chu Xi, who was standing behind Lin Rei. After hearing Lin Rei's words, she immediately took a step forward and asked, "Young master, why don't I go and buy it? This 10,000-year-old blood Lingji mushroom is indeed not bad. It can be used to refine the burning flame pill. It is effective even for divine monarchs." The moment Chu Xi's words left her mouth, she was rejected by Lin Rei's silence and helplessness. Behind her, Xiaofan rolled her eyes at her. Sigh. Chu Xi, can you not be so honest? Looking at her, Lin Rei really did not know what to say, but he had to say it. You are now an emperor-grade alchemist. Although this 10,000-year-old blood Lingji mushroom is not bad, can't you feel the aura of the 10,000-year-old blood Lingji mushroom? Hearing this, Chu Xi doubtfully extended her divine sense and probed the blood Lingji mushroom. Damn, this guy is selling fake medicine? At this moment, she understood the meaning behind Lin Rei's words. She lowered her head in shame and lost her previous enthusiasm. Actually, it's nothing. Moreover, I have no intention of buying it. You should know that although the ingredients used by honored grade alchemists are not the best in the world, it is still not something a small blood Lingji mushroom can compare to. Yes, I understand, young master. At this moment, Chu Xi, who had finished speaking, did not say anything else. What he had done just now had instantly knocked his confidence to the bottom of the valley. Xi, it's okay. Young master still has a lot of things. As long as you study diligently, you will definitely become a great alchemist in the future. I believe in you. Can I? Hearing the words of comfort from her fiancé, Chu Xi, who had been at the bottom of the valley, regained a trace of confidence. Yes, of course you can. Your achievements in the Tao of alchemy are far more than this. I believe that you will definitely become a great alchemist in the future. Yes, I understand. At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words of comfort and affirmation, Chu Xi's confidence was instantly restored. In fact, it was even greater than before. Seeing this, Lin Rei smiled and did not say anything else. Tisk, these two idiots are daydreaming. Great alchemists? I think they are more like egg-laying masters. Yeah, look at them. They don't have any cultivation at all. I'm afraid they are not cultivators, but ordinary people. Yeah, what alchemists? I'm afraid they don't even know the meaning of being an alchemist. At this moment, the discussions of the passers-by were heard. For a moment, Lin Rei and the others, who had heard all these discussions, were speechless. That's enough, don't cause trouble. Sensing Chu Si's rage, just as he was about to attack, Linley's face was as calm as a spring breeze. Let's go. There is no need to argue with them. As long as you know it, it is fine. They are just passing dogs barking randomly. There is no need for you to get entangled with dogs. Ha ha ha. Lin Rei, you are so naughty. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Xiaofan and the other two standing behind him smiled. As for Chu Si's previous annoyance, it disappeared in an instant. Let's go. As he spoke, Linley didn't say anything else. He just continued to walk forward. On the way, he saw all sorts of hawkers and all sorts of shops. What's more, within these shops, Linley saw something which he detested, a slave market. Lin Rei had always been very resistant to the slave trade. Although he had been in the world of cultivation for more than 2,000 years, his earliest memories and instincts were the 9 years of service and learning after that. Therefore, he was resistant to the slave trade from the bottom of his heart. But even so, he knew that he could not do anything about it. After all, this was too far away from the planet he was born on. He could not change anything. The most he could do was to buy a few slaves, but this could only treat the symptoms and not the root cause. 100 Treasures Pavilion? At this moment, Xia Feng's words attracted Lin Rei's attention. He immediately used his divine sense to look at the signboard of the 100 Treasures Pavilion above his head. TSK, TSK, TSK. It's not simple. Looking at the 3 golden words of the 100 Treasures Pavilion above his head, Lin Rei could easily feel the huge sword essence that penetrated from the words. In this regard, Lin Rei knew that he was no match for it. After all, he was not good at swords at all. However, he was confident that if his doppelganger Sakura was here, although he could not see the sword essence, it would be very difficult for him. After all, he had eaten the sword-breaking pill. What's wrong, young master? Is there something wrong? Behind him, Chu Si saw Lin Rei stop and stepped forward to ask. Nothing, I just feel that the 100 Treasures Pavilion is not simple. Having said that, Lin Rei pointed to the signboard above his head and said, Look, just a signboard alone has such a vast and majestic sword essence. I'm afraid that the person who opened the 100 Treasures Pavilion must have a very deep understanding of swordsmanship. Young master is right. The founder of the 100 Treasures Pavilion is indeed best at using swords, Chu Si replied with a smile. Oh? Tell me about it. Having said that, Lin Rei pricked up his ears and listened attentively. The founder of the 100 Treasures Pavilion is none other than the Sword Sect, one of the equipment refining sects. No wonder. After listening to Chu Si's explanation, Lin Rei smiled and said, In that case, let's go. Since it's the Sword Sect's place, let's go in and see what the 100 Treasures Pavilion is like. Let's see if there's anything that can satisfy me. Having said that, Lin Rei stepped forward and entered the 100 Treasures Pavilion. At this moment, Lin Rei had no cultivation at all. He was no different from an ordinary person. At the same time, he did not want to know what it meant to kill without batting an eyelid and was called a devil by others. At this moment, he wanted to know what it meant to be a weak scholar, gentle and elegant. The only thing he lacked was his eyes. Let's go. Behind him, Chu Si and the other two saw Lin Rei's actions and did not say anything. They followed him. The moment Linley entered the 100 Treasures Pavilion, he didn't think that these words were comparable to the 100 Treasures Pavilion. In his opinion, these words were no longer comparable to the decorations here. Tens of thousands of years old warm jade, golden sandstone crystal used to refine divine weapons, and various other treasures that even Lin Rei coveted. It did not matter if they were refining weapons. They were refining pills, setting up formations, and writing runes. There were all kinds of cultivation methods, spiritual spells, battle techniques, and especially rare illusions here. At this moment, Lin Rei suddenly felt that compared to the 100 Treasures Pavilion, the Nine Heavens trading company that he operated before and now operated by his sect were simply small businesses. They could not be mentioned in the same breath. Looking at the dazzling array of items around him, Lin Rei was slightly excited. Blind man, what are you doing here? Just as Lin Rei was exploring the surroundings with his divine sense, a very unsuitable voice sounded. Suddenly, no matter whether it was him or the people who were admiring the items, all stopped. At this moment, all of them came to a halt. All of their gazes were focused on Linley. It's okay. Chu Xi, who was following behind Lin Rei, saw this scene and suddenly, he could no longer suppress his anger. He wanted to go forward and teach the person who spoke a lesson. However, at the moment when he used his strength and cultivation, Lin Rei stopped him with the folding fan in his hand. Chapter 713. Lin Rei's face was calm. He used his divine sense to look at the man who spoke. Judging from his clothes, he did not look like a rich man or a disciple of a big sect. His bodyguard was also mediocre. Oh. I want to ask, who are you? Pfft, me? I'm the son of the manager of 100 Treasures Pavilion. At the same time, I'm also a servant here. The young man's face was full of pride as if he was talking about something amazing. Hearing his words, Lin Rei was stunned. The son of the manager of 100 Treasures Pavilion and a servant of 100 Treasures Pavilion. Was this something to be proud of? After listening to him, Lin Rei calmly stepped forward to the man's side and sneered, "You're really something. The son of the manager of 100 Treasures Pavilion. If you didn't tell me, I would have thought 100 Treasures Pavilion was yours. What right do you have? You're just a servant. What right do you have to decide if someone can enter 100 Treasures Pavilion?" As he spoke, Linley's face showed a hint of anger. "Even if you were, I'd say the same thing. You're open for business. How can you refuse a guest? Wouldn't this be the biggest joke in the world? Or, you can say that you're ignoring us commoners because you have the support of the Sword Sect. Or what?" At this moment, every single word of Linley's was like a gem, and every single word was incisive. He didn't give that servant the slightest chance to retort. Sigh. It seems that 100 Treasures Pavilion will be closed in the future. How can there be such a servant? Who will come back in the future? Really? Yeah, isn't it obvious that they're looking down on us? TSK, TSK, TSK. That's right. Look at them. Even a blind person knows to come and patronize their business. How shameless. Sounds of discussion, cries of injustice for Linley, and cries of indignation rang out at this moment. Of course, there were some who pitied Linley and voiced their indignation, while there were also some who stood there with the attitude of watching a good show, smiling as they watched this scene. At this moment, the man who had severely injured Lin Rei earlier looked at the discussions around him and saw Lin Rei's unyielding attitude. For a moment, he, who had previously been full of disdain, became timid. But at the same time, besides being timid, there was also endless humiliation. He hated the person in front of him very much. Originally, it was a very simple matter, but now, the person in front of him had turned it into the current situation. At this moment, he could vaguely sense that the blind young man before him was no ordinary person. At the same time, after Lin Rei came in, he repeatedly probed with his spiritual consciousness, but he didn't sense any spiritual chi fluctuations from the people behind him. Therefore, the man's mind was filled with resentment. He stood up and threatened, "You, brat, let me tell you, the place you are in now is my territory. As long as I say the word, you can forget about leaving here alive." As he spoke, the corners of the man's mouth curled up into a threatening smile. He then continued, "Of course, if you kneel down and beg for mercy, lick my shoes, and shout loudly that I was wrong, perhaps I will spare you on account of you calling me Grandpa. Oh? What are you shouting for? Grandpa, I was wrong. Pfft. Instantly, the moment the man spoke, the people around him, including Lin Rei, all revealed mocking smiles. Seeing them like this, the man was puzzled. TSK, my good grandson, it's great that you can learn from your mistakes. However, I don't dare to acknowledge someone as unfilial as you. Once these words were spoken, even the stupidest person would know why the people around him were laughing. Immediately, the man's face turned red with shame and anger. At this moment, a murderous aura was brewing in his heart. His killing intent was triggered. As someone who did not live a good life since he was young, but he lived a better life than the commoners. Since he was young, he had become a playboy. At this moment, he felt that his dignity and face had suffered a serious blow. Lin Rei was very sensitive to murderous aura. At this moment, when he felt the man's murderous aura, Lin Rei knew that this person couldn't be left alive. Although his cultivation was pitifully low, he wanted to kill. This was the thing he shouldn't touch the most. Hee. Ha ha ha. Kid, you're dead. The man raised his head and revealed a maniacal smile. In his eyes, murderous aura flashed and disappeared. Oh? Are you sure? Lin Rei didn't care about his threat at all. Coincidentally, he was also feeling bored. Originally, he didn't know what to do. But now, Lin Rei didn't feel bored at all. Just you wait. Seeing Lin Rei's carefree attitude, the man glared at Lin Rei fiercely. Then, he turned around and walked into the inner hall. After a while, when the man reappeared, he was followed by 2 elders and a few middle-aged disciples. At this moment, the old man's face was filled with displeasure, and the middle-aged men behind him were clenching their fists. Coupled with the smug smile on the man's face, Lin Li immediately knew what was going on. At this moment, the people who were watching the show became even more excited. After all, this was a rare event. How could they let it go? They retreated to the side to prevent the aftermath of the battle from hurting them. At the same time, they found a comfortable place to sit down and watch the show. Lin Rei also found a place to sit down. His face was calm as if this matter had nothing to do with him. Director Yang, it's them. They're the ones who said that the 100 Treasure Pavilion is a fake and that it's rotten on the inside. They said something about killing people and stealing treasures. After about a few minutes, Director Yang roughly understood what had happened after listening to Chu Si's words. At the same time, he realized that the whole thing was his shop's fault. For a moment, Director Yang lowered his head with guilt and shame and said, "How about this? This old man will sell the things you bought in the 100 Treasure Pavilion today at a 30% discount. Take it as an apology from the 100 Treasure Pavilion. Is that okay?" Hiss. 30% discount? Oh my god. I didn't expect something like this to happen today. 30% discount, what does that mean? Yeah, wouldn't it be great if you gave it to me? I have a lot of things I want to buy. At this moment, when they heard the old man say 30% discount, for a moment, the surrounding people who were originally waiting to watch a good show began to discuss noisily. Unwilling, regretful, shocked, envious, and all kinds of complicated gazes were focused on the blind young man at this moment. At this moment, everyone was waiting for Lin Rei's reply. They wanted to see how Lin Rei would respond. Not only them, but Director Yang was also waiting. He knew that he was in the wrong, so he could only use this as an excuse to settle the matter. 30% discount. At this moment, Lin Rei opened his mouth. However, his tone was filled with disdain. This young man doesn't care. What the f***ck? At this moment, Lin Rei's words aroused public anger. At the same time, Director Yang was also dissatisfied. As the saying goes, a wise man submits to circumstances. He never thought that the young man in front of him would be like this. You have to think carefully. A 30% discount has never appeared in our 100 Treasure Pavilion. If it wasn't for, although I don't want the precious 30% discount you speak of, I want something else. I wonder if you can give it to me? Before Director Yang could finish his words, Zhang Xian said. Before Director Yang could finish speaking, Lin Rui spoke first. Oh? What is it? Director Yang's heart was filled with doubts. He really wanted to know what it was that could be more important than the 30% discount offered by the 100 Treasure Pavilion. It wasn't just him. At this moment, the surrounding people didn't hesitate to release their cultivation and use their divine sense and hearing to get an answer. Feeling the doubts of the people around him, Lin Rui opened his mouth and said, I want him. As he spoke, Lin Li pointed at the man behind him, the man who had severely injured him. At this moment, Lin Rui only wanted him. Not for anything else, but for the fact that Lin Rui wanted to kill him before. Lin Rui couldn't let him live. As the saying goes, being merciful to the enemy is being cruel to yourself. Being merciful to the enemy is hurting yourself. Lin Rui didn't want this to happen. F***ck, don't stop me. I'm going to kill you. 30% discount. You're really wasting God's gift. At this moment, after everyone heard Lin Rui's words, they were stunned at first. But when they came back to their senses, some of them couldn't stand it anymore and wanted to rush forward and crack open Lin Rui's head. They wanted to see what he was thinking. Are you sure? At this moment, Director Yang recovered from his speechlessness. He didn't expect Lin Rui to make such a request. I'm sure. Give this person to me. Whether he lives or dies has nothing to do with you. Do you agree or not? No. No, Director Yang, my father is the manager here. You can't give me to them. If you give me to them, I will definitely lose my life. I was wrong. I was wrong. Director Yang, I beg you. Please, for the sake of my father sacrificing his life for the 100 Treasure Pavilion, please spare me. Fear filled his entire body. At this moment, the man was scared. He was really scared. He knew that if he was taken by the blind young man, he wouldn't be able to live to see the sun tomorrow. As the saying goes, where there's life, there's hope. As long as he wasn't taken, even if he was punished, he would still have a chance to be rewarded. If he was really given to the blind young man, he wouldn't even be able to save his own life. There was no need to talk about revenge. However, Director Yang was curious and didn't see the man begging for mercy. At this moment, he just wanted to confirm if Lin Rui was telling the truth. I'll ask you again. Are you sure you only want him? You don't want anything else? Sigh. Seeing how long-winded Director Yang was, Lin Li let out a sigh. Filled with helplessness, he said, really? As long as you give him to me, I don't want anything else. In addition, today's matter can be written off. Okay, I agree. After receiving confirmation, Director Yang naturally agreed. This way, not only would the matter be resolved, but he wouldn't lose the interest of the 100 Treasure Pavilion. As for the man's vacancy, he believed that many people would want to work here. No, Director Yang, my father is the manager. You can't do this. At this moment, the man went crazy. He knelt on the ground and hugged the old man's leg tightly. On his face, tears and snot mixed together. It was impossible to tell the two apart. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they felt that it was meaningless. Moreover, what they had imagined didn't happen. After losing the attraction, the crowd dispersed and busied themselves with what they had to do. Those who had to buy things went shopping. Those who had to shop went shopping. It was as if nothing had happened before. Go. At this moment, Lin Rei said to Chu Ci who was behind him. Immediately, Chu Ci stood in front of the man and lifted him up. Then, she walked towards the door. No. Director Yang, I was wrong. Please save me. Following the man's pleas for help and his tearful expression, the two of them finally disappeared from the 100 Treasure Pavilion. Chapter 714. At this moment, a clerk wearing the same clothes as the man who was taken away slipped into the back when no one was paying attention. Lin Rei knew everyone's actions like the back of his hand. When the man left, Lin Rei knew that this matter was not over. Moreover, he did not want it to end because he had not had enough fun yet. Just as everyone had returned to normal, and Linley was casually sitting on the stairs as he had been before, a miserable scream rang out from outside. At this moment, the scream attracted the attention of the passers-by on the first floor of the 100 Treasures Pavilion. Director Yang was also shocked. From the scream just now, he could tell that this person was probably, however, even though he knew the answer in his heart, he still signaled a strong man behind him to go out and investigate the situation. TSK. Not bad. He killed someone in front of the 100 Treasures Pavilion. Moreover, he killed someone from the 100 Treasures Pavilion. This person is really fierce. Of course. I really don't know where this person's confidence comes from. He actually dares to be so presumptuous in front of the Sword Sect's 100 Treasures Pavilion. He's invincible. Look. There's more to come. The discussion seemed to have become a habit at this moment. Moreover, everyone seemed to have nothing to hide. They just kept talking. It was as if they were not in the 100 Treasures Pavilion at this moment. They were unscrupulous. At this moment, the strong man who was sent out to investigate the situation returned to Director Yang's side. He whispered in Director Yang's ear, "He's dead, and what?" Director Yang asked coldly when he saw how timid and hesitant this disciple was. After Zhu Yuan was taken out, he was dismembered by 5 horses. In the end, he was burned to death. Not even a trace of him was left. Hiss. Director Yang sucked in a breath of cold air when he heard the strong man's words. His heart trembled and his expression was full of panic. Then, he looked at Lin Rei who was sitting on the stairs with a calm expression as if this matter had nothing to do with him. At this moment, Director Yang had a new view of this blind young man. Their bodies were torn apart by 5 horses and then burned to ashes. Although this method was not very cruel, it was not something that the righteous path would do. How could a normal person be dismembered by 5 horses? How could a normal person suffer such torture when they were alive, and even be burned to ashes? Director Yang was extremely disgusted by such actions. Moreover, he had never expected that the person in front of him would kill Zhu Yuan. He thought that all he had to do was to spit a few words and beat him up to vent his anger, but now, just as Director Yang was staring at Lin Rei in a daze, the sound of someone clapping their hands was heard. The sudden sound of the clapping, coupled with the fact that Director Yang was in a daze, immediately woke him up and looked towards the door. Chu Ci seemed to have done some dirty work. He patted the dirt off his hands and walked slowly to Lin Rei. He said in a low voice, "Young master, I've dealt with that person." Yes. Linley was very satisfied with how Chu Ci had handled things. He wouldn't let off anyone who dared to go against him, his enemies, or those who revealed their killing intent towards him. Even if that person was someone who would never surpass him. At this time, Director Yang looked at Lin Rei's expression. After hearing his subordinate's report, there was not the slightest change in his expression. Lin Rei's face was as calm as an ancient well without ripples. It was so calm that Director Yang was covered in cold sweat. This person is not simple. He is a classic example of pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. Look, this person is not simple. Ah. Interesting. Seeing Lin Rei's reaction, the surrounding people began to mutter in their hearts. They had a vague feeling that this blind young man was not simple. At the same time, they began to slowly refuse to provoke this blind young man. They even had an impulse to leave. However, Lin Rei did not understand the thoughts in their hearts. Director Yang understood even more. At this moment, he was waiting for the father of the person who was killed. As the saying goes, cut the weeds without removing the roots. He was not sure what kind of person the father of the person who died here was. If it was one of the four ruthless people, then, he did not want to see such an outcome. Who? Who is it? How dare you touch my son? You don't want to live anymore? Just when the scene was so quiet that it was oppressive, a rough voice filled with boundless killing intent sounded. Before the person arrived, the voice arrived. Soon, a middle-aged man dressed in luxurious clothes walked out. The middle-aged man was very unique. He had a small mustache and a monkey with fur beside his nose. He was very eye-catching. It was guaranteed that if he was placed in a crowd, he would be able to recognize his existence at a glance. Ah! He's here. At this moment, Linley was laughing in his heart. The thing he had been waiting for had finally come. However, when that person appeared within Linley's divine sense and was reflected in Linley's mind, Linley was stunned. However, he quickly came back to his senses. When his divine sense locked onto that, strange-looking middle-aged man, an imperceptible sneer appeared at the corner of Linley's mouth. It disappeared in an instant, and no one present was able to notice it. Because, at this moment, everyone's gazes were all on that fat middle-aged man. Huh. Interesting, interesting. The young one is gone and the old one is here. However, I don't know if this old one is useful. Tisk, why do you care so much? Just watch and you will know soon. Looking at the scene, everyone was watching the show and discussing at the same time. They did not have any intention of avoiding the topic. At this moment, the middle-aged man's word sounded, Director Yang's heart trembled. He thought to himself, oh no. He knew this person. This person was the manager of the 100 Treasure Pavilion, Zhu Zhen. Normally, he would collect bills and buy goods. However, he also had another identity. He was the law enforcement elder of the Sword Sect's outer sect. His cultivation was at the Divine Monarch realm and he was extremely protective of his own people. He was famous in the Sword Sect's own Xiong city. At this moment, seeing Zhu Zhen's arrival, Director Yang knew that the matter that had originally calmed down had not calmed down. Instead, it had been sublimated once again. Zhu Zhen walked out from the back with an unfriendly expression. His expression was filled with killing intent as he arrived in front of Director Yang. He swept his gaze across the crowd and finally, his gaze fell on Lin Rei who was sitting on the stairs. He looked at him and asked Director Yang who was beside him. Director Yang, I wonder if there's someone who has designs on my son. As he spoke, only then did Zhu Zhen recall that he had swept his gaze around earlier and did not see the shadow of his son. Instantly, his brows furrowed as a bad premonition surged into his heart. Where's my son? Where's my son? Zhu Zhen did not notice that at this moment, Director Yang's expression was extremely ugly and his heart was filled with anxiety. Although his status and cultivation were much higher than Zhu Zhen's in both the 100 Treasures Pavilion and the Sword Sect, Zhu Zhen was famous for being a troublemaker. He had climbed all the way to his current position from a street thug. If he was angry, even he did not dare to provoke him. Now, hearing his question, Director Yang did not know how to answer. Say that he's dead? Huh. I'm afraid the 100 Treasures Pavilion will suffer today, but if I don't say it, he's dead, just as Director Yang was considering whether to tell Zhu Zhen, a voice sounded. Immediately, Director Yang went completely crazy. However, when Director Yang was about to angrily rebuke the person who spoke, he saw that the person who spoke was the blind young man who he could not fathom and who he feared. The words that he originally wanted to say were choked at this moment and could not be said. What? He's dead? Hearing the news of his son's death, Zhu Zhen was momentarily stunned. A difficult smile appeared on his face and his voice became hurried. No. Impossible. How could my son be? How could my son be? Impossible. No. No. Impossible. At this moment, Zhu Zhen went crazy. He did not care if it was true or not. His aura reached its peak and his cultivation of an early-stage divine lord was exposed at this moment. A terrifying pressure rushed out and covered everyone within a radius of 1,000 meters. Puff. Puff, puff. Puff, the crazy Zhu Zhen seemed to have lost his mind. At this moment, with the 100 Treasures Pavilion as the center, the area within a radius of 1,000 meters was covered by the pressure of an early-stage divine lord. Most of the people in this area were ordinary people. At this moment, after feeling this terrifying pressure, all the ordinary people vomited blood. They knew that some ordinary people had directly died. The ordinary people in the divinity and the ordinary people in the lower world could not be mentioned in the same breath. In the lower world, except for cultivators, the lifespan of ordinary people was at most 120 years. The lucky ones could live up to 150 years and the unlucky ones could live up to 60 years. However, it was different in the divinity. After being baptized by the spiritual chi in the divinity, their lifespan was greatly increased. Ordinary people could live up to 400 or 500 years. Because of the baptism of spiritual chi, their bodies could be compared to an earth immortal at the worst. Now, the sudden pressure made their bodies unable to bear it and they vomited blood and died. Zhu Zhen and the others in the 100 Treasures Pavilion had no idea about all of this. At this moment, he only knew that his son was killed and he roared to the sky. He never thought that he would violate the rules of Qiongzhou because of this. At this moment, Zhu Zhen, who had recovered from his rage, had a calm look on his face. He lowered his head and looked down at Linli, his eyes filled with disdain and killing intent. You said my son died. Who did it? I'll let him know that he can't afford to offend my son. I killed him. F***ck, is this guy crazy? Oh, F***ck, isn't this like the god of longevity hanging himself? Is he tired of living? At this moment, Lin Rei didn't hide anything from Zhu Zhen and directly said that he was responsible for Zhu Yuan's death. At this moment, after hearing Lin Rei's straightforward answer, the surrounding people went crazy. They looked at him as if they were looking at an idiot. They really wanted to crack open Lin Rei's head and see what he was thinking. For ordinary people, they wouldn't be able to wait to encounter this kind of situation. However, he was actually forced to do something beyond his ability and was courting death. Of course, the surrounding people weren't the only ones who were shocked. At this moment, Director Yang was also shocked by Lin Rei's answer. He really didn't expect this blind young man to be like this. However, no one noticed that when Linli was replying to Zhu Zhen, there was an imperceptible smile at the corner of his mouth. If any of his past enemies had seen this smile, they would definitely have panicked and tried to flee for their lives. Chapter 7:15. Everyone present thought that Linli would be struck by Zhu Zheng's ferocious power, and in the end spit out a mouthful of blood and die. Some of the more cowardly ones even closed their eyes, sighing in pity for Linli. However, just as everyone was fantasizing, the scene they were hoping for didn't happen. Ant. The ant you're talking about is yourself, right? Lin Rei stood up and stretched. He didn't even release his divine sense. He slowly raised his left hand and pointed it at Zhu Zhen, who was rushing towards him. Ha, die. At this moment, Zhu Zhen's eyes were filled with killing intent and disdain. He didn't believe that a blind person would be his opponent. Moreover, he could feel that the other party didn't use any spirit energy. At this moment, Zhu Zhen began to wonder if the other party was a cultivator. Because of the rules of Jade City, he even began to worry if he would get into trouble after killing him. However, when he thought about how his precious son died without even leaving a corpse behind, he couldn't care less. He just wanted to kill the person in front of him for revenge. Zhu Zhen was very fast. In an instant, he arrived in front of Lin Rei. With a majestic and cold killing intent, he threw a punch at Lin Rei's dantian. Son, wait. I'll send him down to be trained by you. Slow down. Seeing that he was about to kill the person in front of him, Zhu Zhen revealed a sad smile. His eyes were moist as he spoke to the sky. At this moment, the surrounding people were excited, nervous, regretful, and scared. There were all kinds of emotions. Some were watching the show, while others felt sorry for Lin Rei. Bang! There was a loud explosion. A terrifying shockwave spread out in all directions. There were many people with powerful cultivation, but under Zhu Zhen's attack, the shockwave couldn't be underestimated. At this moment, everyone closed their eyes because of the shockwave. Some turned around and used their weak spirit energy. However, some cultivators with low cultivation levels suffered. Their bodies were directly pressed against the wall of the 100 Treasures Pavilion by the aftermath of the collision. They stuck to the wall and had an intense and intimate contact with it that they would never forget for the rest of their lives. The aftermath lasted for about 10 breaths before dissipating in the air. In an instant, everyone hurriedly opened their eyes, wanting to see the current situation of the battle. How is this possible? How did you? Just as everyone turned around and focused their gazes on Lin Rei and Zhu Zhen, a cry of surprise rang out. F***CK. No. It can't be, right? F***CK, they're playing the pig to eat the tiger. What the F***CK are they trying to do? Is it fun? Damn, the situation of the battle has turned around so quickly. It's over, it's all over. Feeling his cultivation disappear at this moment and his dantian being crippled, he knew that he had kicked an iron plate. He had encountered a tough opponent. However, he could not understand how the person in front of him could be so tyrannical. Moreover, he was blind. As for him, it was because Lin Rei was blind and at the same time, he did not feel a trace of spiritual energy from him. Therefore, Zhu Zhen concluded that he was at most an ordinary person. Now that he thought about it, everything was just his own wishful thinking. He did not regret it. Since he had already lost, there was nothing for him to complain about. However, the only thing that made him unreconciled was that he did not personally avenge his son. He was unreconciled. He regretted his poor judgment. If he had known this would happen, he would have hidden and found someone to help him kill his son. However, at this moment, no matter what he said, it was already over. The matter had ended just like that. Looking at Zhu Zhen who was kneeling in front of him, Lin Rei sighed and said, "Don't blame me. No wonder you can only blame yourself for not teaching your son well. Your son wanted to kill me. I will not let such a person go. As the saying goes, cut the weeds without removing the roots. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not knowing how to endure." What? You. At this moment, Zhu Zhen, who was kneeling on the ground with a face full of pain and proof, seemed to have thought of something the moment he heard those words. He raised his head and looked at Lin Rei with disbelief. "Oh, you guessed right. However, you have no chance." After saying that, he ignored the shocked gazes of the surrounding onlookers and ignored Zhu Zhen's disbelieving expression. He raised his hand and just like before, without using any cultivation, he slapped towards the top of Zhu Zhen's head. Stop! Just as he was about to kill Zhu Zhen, a voice suddenly appeared, attracting the attention of Lin Rei, Zhu Zhen, and everyone present. At the same time, the voice also stopped Lin Rei's hand, which was less than a centimeter away from Zhu Zhen's head. Before the person arrived, the voice came first. Soon, under everyone's doubtful and expectant gazes, a beautiful woman who was as beautiful as a fairy appeared in the crowd's focus. Looking at her, Lin Rei's expression was full of doubt. However, one thing was for sure. She came from behind, which meant that she was a member of the 100 Treasure Pavilion. At the same time, she was approved by Zhu Zhen. When he thought of this, Linli began to frown. As soon as the woman had appeared, Linli had immediately sensed her cultivation level. Although she wasn't exceptionally talented, in the entire deity realm, she could be considered a genius. A peak-stage late-stage divine lord, with a top-grade dual-attribute spiritual root of wood and water, with exceptional talent and comprehension abilities. Her face was full of disbelief and her mind was in a daze. Damn it, you asterisk hashtag at hashtag asterisk. At this moment, a young man in the surroundings came back to his senses. His face was full of disdain as he cursed at Lin Rei. It was as if he had forgotten that a cultivator in the early stage of the divine monarch realm was easily suppressed by him. And the curses made the people in the surroundings, including Zhuge Mingyue and the others, come back to their senses. At this moment, she was very angry. She wanted to talk nicely, but the other party made such an unreasonable request. This made her unable to tolerate it. Worry. Be careful with your words. Otherwise, it's easy to get into trouble with your words. Zhuge Mingyue said to Lin Rei with a cold gaze. At this moment, the temperature of the surroundings dropped to an extreme. Oh. Yes. Woman, Mingyue, woman, kill him. What kind of bird is he? How dare he say such arrogant words here? Yes, kill him, kill him. Look at his miserable state now. Isn't he a toad that wants to eat swan meat? Is he dreaming? At this moment, Lin Rei was interrupted by the curses of the crowd. For a moment, he frowned. Although he did not want to argue with these people, they were so shameless. They bullied a disabled person again and again. This was intolerable. Whoosh, a sound pierced through the air. Just as Lin Rei was about to teach them a lesson himself, he saw a figure flash past in an instant and appear in front of the people who had mocked and cursed. Punch after punch, every punch landed on the people's bodies. Bam! 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 At this moment, the entire first floor of Baibao Pavilion was filled with screams. It was the sound of hammering. At the same time, this made Zhuge Mingyue wary. Because from the beginning to the end, she did not know how that person appeared in front of the group of people. Lin Rei did not expect this scene at all. At this moment, it was none other than Xiaofan, whom he had always disdained. Looking at her crazy behavior, Lin Rei could not help but tremble. Then, he quickly said, "Okay, Xiaofan, just teach them a lesson." "Okay, got it." The voice came from behind. At this moment, everyone was dumbfounded because her speed was so fast that it made everyone confused. Not only the crowd, but even Lin Rei was stunned. Xiaofan was still far away when she spoke a moment ago, but in the next second, she had appeared behind him. At the same time, Lin Rei was full of envy and desire for such speed because this cultivation and this speed was the height that he was working hard to reach at this moment. This person is not simple. At this moment, these words appeared in Zhuge Mingyue's mind. Chapter 7:16. So, have you thought it through? Do you want to save him or become my cultivation partner? Lin Rei smiled faintly as he looked at Zhuge Mingyue. Of course, if you don't choose, then I'll have to make my own choice. When the time comes, it won't be up to you anymore. At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, Zhuge Mingyue frowned. She was usually very smart and could see through everyone's thoughts, but now she couldn't see through the thoughts of the person in front of her. However, between herself and Zhu Zhen, Zhuge Mingyue knew which choice she should make. Alright, I know. So you want to be my cultivation partner? Since that's the case, I'll fulfill your wish. As soon as the word "I" left her mouth, Linli didn't wait for her to continue. I know you want to say that I'm handsome, elegant, and unrestrained. I love freedom. So, I'll fulfill your wish. Whoosh, after saying that, Zhuge Mingyue was stunned. She was furious. She had never seen such a shameless and brazen person before. However, just as she was about to retort, the blind youth who had been standing in front of her disappeared in the blink of an eye. This scene shocked everyone. But at this moment, a breeze blew behind her. Zhuge Mingyue was shocked. She wanted to turn around to check, but a hand pressed against her back. A terrifying energy surged in and sealed her movements. She needed to use her power. At this moment, Zhuge Mingyue was shocked. She knew that this person's subordinate was very powerful. At the same time, she knew that he could defeat Zhu Zhen, who was an early-stage divine lord. But she didn't expect him to be so strong that she couldn't even fight back. I've said too much. If you want to be my cultivation partner, just say it. You don't have to take the initiative. If you do this, I'll feel embarrassed. Zhuge Mingyue's body fell towards Lin Rei. Finally, she fell into Lin Rei's arms. This action caused everyone to be shocked. At this moment, they had all gone mad. They couldn't accept that such a beautiful woman had fallen into the hands of this blind man before them. In their hearts, this was like a fresh flower stuck in cow dung, and it was a very smelly person. They were very envious, regretful, and hateful, but in the end, there was nothing they could do. But what they didn't know was that right now, Zhuge Mingyue already had thoughts of killing herself. She didn't want this to happen either, but she didn't have the power to fight back. If she could, she would have picked up a machete and charged forward, chopping Linli into 8 pieces, tearing his body apart and killing him. But at this moment, she couldn't do it. There was nothing he could do. Can't help it. This brother's charisma is too great. Looking at Zhuge Mingyue, Linli raised his head, shrugged his shoulders, and said nonchalantly, "Don't worry." However, this sentence aroused the dissatisfaction and jealousy of the surrounding people. Tisk, what's there to be cocky about? Isn't it just courting Zhuge Mingyue? What's so great about that? B****, damn you. F***ck, if it weren't for the fact that I'm weaker than you, I would have chopped you up with a knife this morning. Of course, these words weren't said out loud. After all, Xiaofan, who was behind Lin Rei, had displayed absolute power. So at this moment, everyone could only glare at Lin Rei angrily and silently feel wronged. How is it, little beauty? At this moment, Lin Rei's hand had already started to erase the mountain peak on Zhuge Mingyue's chest. At this moment, Zhuge Mingyue was anxious, but she couldn't do anything. She could only watch as this devil's claws invaded her territory. She was so anxious that she couldn't even move. She was so anxious that tears flowed from her eyes. Lin Rei could naturally feel Zhuge Mingyue's current actions and emotions. So, just as his hand was about to touch there, he stopped. Tsk. No, let's talk in the room. You're so beautiful, we can't let their eyes take advantage of you. Don't you think so? As he spoke, he took his hand from Zhuge Mingyue's chest and held her in his arms. Because the two of them were already in close contact. At this moment, Lin Rei said to himself, F***ck, this woman is really. At this moment, Xiaofan, who was standing behind Lin Rei, looked at the actions of Lin Rei and Zhuge Mingyue. Her heart ached, but she knew that Lin Rei had sealed all of Zhuge Mingyue's meridians, spiritual power, and language. At the same time, she also knew that Lin Rei was just teasing her. Even so, she still felt uncomfortable. However, Lin Rei didn't know what Xiaofan was thinking. At this moment, he only wanted to have some fun and then leave. Looking at the envious and jealous gazes of the crowd, Lin Rei chuckled. Then, he lowered his head and came to Zhuge Mingyue's ear. In a low voice that only the two of them could hear, he said, Actually, I never wanted to let Zhu Zhen go. From the beginning to the end, he was already on my kill list. So even if you agreed, you couldn't have saved him. Moreover, you had no intention of saving him at all, so. As he spoke, Lin Rei raised his hand. A blood-red flame instantly rushed out and landed on Zhu Zhen's body. The red flame began to burn on Zhu Zhen's body. Ah! No! At this moment, the miserable cry made the hearts of the crowd turn cold. They started to tremble all over. Most of the people here were disciples of aristocratic families. Occasionally, there would be a few individual cultivators and even ordinary people. Although they had heard of this kind of death, they had never seen it before. But today, they saw it. This kind of death frightened the crowd. At this moment, their bodies felt as if they were being burned by the flame. Their hands couldn't help but grope their bodies a few times. The miserable cry made everyone's scalp tingle. Their bodies felt as if they had fallen into the depths of the Arctic. It was also as if someone was strangling them and making it difficult to breathe. A meaty fragrance slowly drifted throughout the entire first floor of the Baibao Pavilion. At this moment, when everyone smelled the meaty fragrance, their organs turned upside down and their stomachs couldn't stand the smell. Blurg, at this moment, more than half of the people on the first floor bent over and began to vomit. They wanted to go out and breathe in the fresh air, but they didn't dare to move because there was a murderous demon in front of them that made them jealous and afraid. They were afraid. Damn it, smelling this makes me want to eat. TSK. Smelling the meaty fragrance, Lin Rei touched it subconsciously and couldn't help but laugh. However, his words were unmistakably accurate, and they rang out clearly in everyone's ears. At this moment, everyone stared at Linley with strange looks in their eyes. F***CKU, you're hungry, I, hashtag at hashtag asterisk, F***CK, I can't. I still want to vomit. How am I going to eat meat in the future? Blurg. Blurg. I'm not going to eat meat anymore. I'm going to become a vegetarian. This is 2F***king disgusting. At this moment, no one tried to hide anything from Linley and spoke directly. At this moment, they had so many guesses. Smelling the fragrance of Zhu Zhen's meat wafting through the room, they didn't have the mood to think about anything else. They just wanted to vomit and leave. Right at this moment, Linley frowned. He raised his head to look at the skies outside. At this moment, he could sense that several martial emperors were hurrying towards them. Sensing that it was them, Lin Rei couldn't help but lock his consciousness on Director Yang, who was standing in a corner and looking at him. Lin Rei curiously knew what was going on. It turned out that he was the cause of all this. When Yi Shiwen wasn't paying attention to him, he actually informed the people of the Sword Sect. It wasn't that he had guessed correctly. Rather, Linley could clearly sense a fierce sword intent emanating from those people, as well as the sword chi that surrounded them. At this moment, they were like treasured swords that had yet to be unsheathed. Their sharpness was restrained, but it was still exposed and exposed. Looking at them, Lin Rei's lips curled into an undetectable smile. Then, he looked down at Zhuge Mingyue and said, "Tisk, someone from your sect is here to save you, but, however, I really want to see if your sect will feel the pain if 5 emperor gods die here. Will the other sects take the opportunity to snatch the title of the leader of the 7 sects?" At this moment, Zhuge Ming was shocked. Killing emperor gods was already unacceptable to him, but Lin Rei still said 5 emperor gods. This made Zhuge Mingyue guess the real cultivation level of the person in front of her. Yeah, 5 great emperor realm experts, do you think they're like steamed buns that you can bully? He's not just like them, he's really an idiot. 5 great emperor realm experts, this. If the 5 of them attack together, I'm afraid the entire Jade City will be reduced to ashes. Lin Rei understood the crowd's discussion. Only he and the people who knew him knew how powerful he was. Raising his head, Lin Rei looked at the 5 great emperor realm experts with his divine sense, and a devilish smile appeared on his face. At this moment, the 5 great emperor realm experts saw the smile on Lin Rei's face, and they felt inexplicably nervous and scared. However, they were very confident in their own strength. They didn't think that they couldn't defeat this blind young man in front of them. However, sometimes, blind confidence could kill. For example, the moment they underestimated Lin Rei, they were already on the verge of death. "Yun Kai, you haven't fought since you started learning the new technique, right?" Yes. Yes, young master." The sudden question stunned Yun Kai for a moment, but she quickly replied. "Yes, as a qualified expert, you have to fight non-stop. You have to challenge the impossible. You have to fight people, fight the earth, fight the heavens, and die without mercy. Stand there. The first task I'm giving you is to kill that young man I hate and take back his storage ring." "Understood." Whoosh, after nodding, Cloud disappeared in the blink of an eye, charging towards the target Linley had given her. "If that's the case, then forget it. If you go, I won't be able to play anymore. You should just watch. When this is over, we'll go eat." With that, Lin Rei disappeared from where he was and rushed towards the other 4 great emperors with Zhuge Mingyue in his arms. At this moment, Linley couldn't afford to be careless. Although he knew that he was very powerful, he didn't dare to underestimate his enemies in battle. Because, if he did, the consequences would be the risk of being killed. This was something that he had always abided by since he first stepped into the path of cultivation. Until now, it had never changed. A speck of light dares to compete with the moon? You're courting death. At this moment, one of the 4 old men, who was wielding a halberd, looked at Linley who was charging towards him with a disdainful look on his face. Chapter 7:17. The Light of a Grain of Rice? Hearing the elder's words, Lin Rei smiled but did not say anything. How is that possible? At this moment, Zhuge Mingyue, who was in Lin Rei's embrace, could feel the powerful spiritual energy emanating from Lin Rei's body. At this moment, she was shocked. At the same time, she started to worry for the elders of the sect. Die. Whoosh, seeing that he had moved, the elder charged towards Lin Rei with the halberd in his hand. Although he was fast, he was still slower than Lin Rei. "Beauty, do you think we should kill him directly or play with him for a while?" Feeling the elder's powerful aura, Lin Rei smiled playfully and then lowered his head to ask Zhuge Mingyue, who was in his embrace. Air. But I forgot that you can't speak. Since that's the case, I'll agree to play with them for a while." With that, Lin Rei did not have the chance to talk to Zhuge Mingyue. Instead, he locked his consciousness on the elder and looked at him. Lin Rei closed his folding fan and immediately activated the star finger. In the blink of an eye, the two of them collided. The halberd and the folding fan collided. Instantly, a shockwave spread out in all directions. The cultivators within 1,000 meters felt as if their souls had been smashed by the thunder god's hammer, making it hard for them to breathe. Of course, among these cultivators, except for those in the Emperor God realm, there were no other cultivators. However, Lin Rei knew that there were ordinary people here. Therefore, he had secretly asked Xiaofan to take care of all the ordinary people in the battle area. He wanted to make sure that they would not be hurt in the battle. Lin Rei knew that he was not a good person, but he had not reached the point where he would kill people without hesitation. Those who had nothing to do with him, he would not kill. As for those who had a grudge against him, he would not let any of them go. This was the creed that Lin Rei believed in. Of course, he did not care what others did. He only knew that a person should have a clear conscience. Bam, the two of them collided. At this moment, everyone was stunned and bewildered. TSK, I didn't expect this little kid to be so strong. He can actually block this old man's sky piercer. Looking at Lin Rei, he couldn't help but become serious. After the collision just now, he knew that the person in front of him was not simple. Just from the fact that the folding fan had collided with his halberd, he knew that if that folding fan was ordinary, it would have been shattered into pieces. Thus, he was certain that the level of that folding fan was not inferior to the weapon in his hand. It could even be, even higher. Heh. What, are you looking down on me? Why aren't you going to use your full power? Linley asked. From this, one could tell that Linley's voice had turned cold. Ugh, heh, good lad. Upon hearing Lin Rei's words, the old man was stunned. He raised his head and smiled. Then, he said loudly, "You're not simple to be able to see that I'm hiding my cultivation base and not using my full strength. This old man is the sixth elder of the Sword Sect, Jian Yun. I can feel that there's a suppressed energy in your body. It's very powerful. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Are we going to fight or not? If we're not going to fight, I'm going to take my new companion back." Lin Rei had an inexplicable change in his opinion of the old man in front of him. He thought that Jian Yun would be like the others. Jian Yun looked down on him because of his low cultivation base. But he didn't expect that Jian Yun would be like this. Ugh, as for Lin Rei, the old man was stunned. Then, his eyes turned sharp. He separated himself from Lin Rei and retreated. In an instant, he appeared a few meters away from Lin Rei. At this moment, Jian Yun's aura changed. It became sharp and obstructive. Previously, he was like a sheathed sword. His aura was restrained and no light could be seen. But at this moment, Lin Rei felt that Jian Yun was serious. From the sharp sword aura on Jian Yun's body and the serious look on Jian Yun's face, Lin Rei knew that Jian Yun had started to respect his opponent. Because of this, Lin Rei started to like Jian Yun a little. TSK. Not bad. You're serious now. Looking at Jian Yun, Lin Rei smiled and muttered, "This is fun. If an elder of the Sword Sect can't even compare to an elder of the Sword Danzong Sect, then how can the Sword Sect be called the #1 sect? Kid, Mingyue is the little princess of the Sword Sect. So, don't have such thoughts in the future." Looking at Lin Rei and Zhuge Mingyue who was in his arms, Jian Yun's expression turned cold and said, "Moreover, our goal this time is very clear. Mingyue, we'll send her to you. Although I can feel the terrifying energy in your body and I might not be able to resist it, I'm sorry, but I can't let you leave with Mingyue." Ugh. Looking at Jian Yun's reaction, Lin Rei was stunned. Then, he lowered his head and said, "Your position in the Sword Sect is quite high. I didn't expect so many people to protect you. TSK, do you still need to say it?" At this moment, hearing Lin Rei's words, Zhuge Mingyue's eyes were rolling non-stop. It was as if she was saying, "Hurry up and let me go. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson." However, at this moment, Lin Rei didn't have the chance to do so. He could feel that Jian Yun was using his full strength. He thought that when an Emperor Realm expert released his full strength, the surrounding air would stagnate for a short period of time. "Come, let me see how strong you are when you use your full strength." Looking at Jian Yun, Lin Rei raised his finger and provoked him. At this moment, Lin Rei's face was full of smiles. "Humph, try this old man's Art of Wind and Thunder Spear." After saying that, Jian Yun moved. Art of Wind and Thunder Spear? Looking at Jian Yun, Lin Rei smiled faintly. Then, he instantly used the Silent Thunder Spear, replacing the long spear with a folding fan. Because it was a folding fan, the power of the spear was greatly reduced. Although the power of the spear was reduced by 20 to 30%, Lin Rei was confident that it would be enough. Lin Rei held the folding fan tightly and started to circulate the Silent Thunder Spear. At this moment, the sound of lightning flashing could be heard from the folding fan. How is this possible? At this moment, Zhuge Mingyue, who was lying in Lin Rei's arms, heard the sound of lightning and felt the terrifying aura emitted by Lin Rei. At this moment, she knew that Jian Yun wasn't a match for Lin Rei. As the daughter of the Sword Sect leader, Zhuge Mingyue was very clear about Jian Yun's strength. At this moment, she was extremely shocked. At the same time, she was also very puzzled. A person like Lin Rei, who didn't have any reputation in the cultivation world, suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Moreover, after everything that happened just now, she knew that everything that happened before was done on purpose. And the purpose of all of this was just for the fun that he mentioned. At this moment, she was going crazy. She really couldn't understand why she was so unlucky. It wasn't easy for her to escape from the sect. Just as she arrived here, she actually encountered such a thing. She really wanted to see if her 8 characters were in conflict with this period of time. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so unlucky. Boom! Just as Zhuge Mingyue was vexed, she heard the sound of a thunderstorm. Instantly, she was stunned. Then, she listened carefully. Although her cultivation was sealed and her ability was sealed, her hearing was still very sensitive. At this moment, Jian Yun moved. He used the Art of Wind and Thunder Spear, bringing along the power of destruction. In an instant, he arrived in front of Lin Rei. Without any hesitation, he aimed his halberd at Lin Rei's head and pierced it. The power of this spear could be said to be as fast as lightning. The spear intent was displayed to the extreme by Jian Yun, mixed with a destructive aura. Interesting. Lin Rei could sense from the halberd in front of him that if he were to be struck by it, even if he didn't die, he would be severely injured. Of course, this was only limited to Lin Rei. If it was any other emperor, they would have exploded long ago. Silent Thunder Spear Art, Silent Thunder Kill. At this moment, Lin Rei saw that the cold light was getting closer and closer to his head. It wasn't good for him to escape. Immediately, he raised his hand and used his folding fan as a spear. He used the Silent Thunder Spear Art's first move, the Silent Thunder Kill, and instantly collided with the cold light. Bang, buzz, what? How? At this moment, Jian Yun, who had collided with Lin Rei, thought that he could use this move to injure Lin Rei as well. However, he did not expect that the moment the two of them collided, his previous thoughts were completely shattered. At the moment when the two of them collided, a destructive aura and an energy that he could not resist was instantly transmitted from Lin Rei's folding fan. Then, the halberd directly entered his body. At this moment, Jian Yun felt as if his heart was being bitten by thousands of ants. The pain was unbearable. Jian Yun let out a blood-curdling shriek. His voice was extremely miserable. His entire face seemed to have changed into a ferocious one. What's going on? At this moment, the three elders who did not participate in the battle from afar raised their eyebrows when they saw Jian Yun in such a state. They were terrified. Jian Yun was one of the top experts in the entire sword sect. He was even one of the top experts among the elders. But now, with just one move, he was reduced to such a state. Although Jian Yun did not cultivate the sword Dao, his spear intent was extremely powerful. They could not understand why this happened. They did not know that although Jian Yun used a long spear and his spear intent was at the transformation stage, they did not know that Lin Rei also used a long spear. Moreover, his spear intent was many times stronger than Jian Yun's. Moreover, in terms of cultivation level, Lin Li was many times more powerful than Jian Yun. Therefore, when Jian Yun was compared to Lin Li, he was like a small child in the presence of a great magus. He wasn't just a small child. Humph, this is not how you use a spear. Looking at Jian Yun, Lin Rei chuckled. Then, he took a step forward and grabbed Jian Yun's halberd. Then, he brandished the halberd. Suddenly, a terrifying spear intent was emitted from Jian Yun's body. This, Jian Yun, who also cultivated the spear Dao, could feel the spear intent gushing out from Lin Rei's body. At this moment, Jian Yun was enlightened. He finally knew why he was defeated. Feeling Lin Rei's spear intent, Jian Yun realized how arrogant he was in the past. He thought that his spear intent was invincible. At this moment, he was completely defeated in front of Lin Rei. Go back and cultivate for a few more years before coming out. Save yourself the embarrassment. Bang! As he spoke, Lin Li raised his halberd and struck Jian Yun with his spear. His movement was unpredictable like a ghost from the underworld, causing Jian Yun to be unable to defend against it. Jian Yun didn't even have the slightest premonition before he was sent flying by the spear. In the air, Jian Yun's figure formed a parabola and landed perfectly beside his companions. Seeing this, Lin Rei shook the long spear in his hand. His heart was filled with disdain. Then, he raised his arm and threw the long spear at Jian Yun. Whoosh, the halberd turned into a stream of light. Its speed was so fast that it shocked the three of them. They wanted to catch it with their hands. Whoosh, one of them, although shocked, was brimming with confidence. He used his hand to catch the spear, but just as he was brimming with confidence, his hand also grabbed the spear shaft. However, just as he thought he could catch the spear's speed did not decrease in the slightest. It flew backwards with the old man, who was holding the spear tightly. It was only after flying for more than 10,000 meters that the long spear's speed slowed down. Only then did the old man have the strength to control it. Hiss, the appearance of this scene caused the hearts of the other two people to be shocked. They looked at the blind young man with fear. They did not expect Lin Rei's strength to be so strong. When they first arrived, they wanted to suppress him. But now, there was only one thought in their mind. This person. They could not afford to offend him. Lin Rei, who knew the result beforehand, looked at the old man who was 10,000 meters away with a smile on his face. He was satisfied. TSK. I've finally had enough fun. I suddenly feel like eating. Lin Rei touched his stomach subconsciously. What the F***ck? Is he still human? At this moment, although Zhuge Mingyue did not know what had happened, she could feel that the elder sent by the sword sect had been defeated. He had been defeated very thoroughly. Peng, at this moment, a strange sound was heard. Immediately, Lin Rei's attention was diverted. At this moment, Yun Kai was fighting with the young man. Yun Kai was holding a 3 long cold light. She stepped on the lotus and stood in the void in front of the young man. She said with disdain, "You've lost." I've lost? How could I lose? how could I? At this moment, the young man's face was filled with disbelief. Humph. Yunkai did not pay attention to the young man. She turned and prepared to leave. But at this moment, killing intent appeared in the young man's eyes. He held his sword and used his footwork. His figure instantly attacked Yunkai. Bastard! Lin Rei, who was watching the battle, frowned when he saw the young man's action. He was furious. But at this moment, he did not hesitate. He used his full cultivation. With his middle-stage God-Emperor cultivation and the flowing cloud boots on his feet, Lin Rei's speed was raised to the extreme. At this moment, the old man who accompanied the young man also saw this scene. Immediately, his face was filled with disappointment and pain. They had never thought that the child they had watched grow up would become such a despicable person. Die. At this moment, Lin Rei, who had raised his speed to the extreme, arrived behind the young man in a breath's time. Against such a person, Lin Rei did not hesitate. He used his star finger and pierced towards the young man's head. Not good. At this moment, the young man who was about to kill Yunkai suddenly felt a killing intent coming from behind him. Immediately, the young man gave up the chance to kill and dodged to the side. But would Lin Rei give him this chance? The answer was no. Chapter 7:18. Die. One could see the folding fan emitting a golden light stabbing towards the head of the young man. No, no. Sensing the aura of death behind him, the young man became anxious and wanted to escape from this place. At this moment, he knew that if he was slow, even if he was slower by a second, he would die. But, the truth was, he did not have the ability to escape from this comfort of death. Peng, poo. Kacha. One could see Lin Rei's folding fan entering the mind of the young man without any obstruction. At this moment, the sound of bones breaking could be heard. Blood and brain matter mixed together and flowed out from where the folding fan was. How? At this moment, the young man's face was filled with disbelief. His eyes widened and his body went soft. At this moment, the young man, until his death, he did not know how strong the person he had offended was. Hiss. The young man's death served as a reminder to the three old men. They knew that they could not win against the person before them. In fact, they had a feeling that even if Sect Master was here, he might not be his opponent. Seeing the death of a genius of their sect, the three old men could not bear it. But when they thought of the actions of the young man previously, the original feeling of pity disappeared. To a sword cultivator, if he did not have a chivalrous heart and was a despicable person, he would not be able to go far in the future. But the three old men were astonished at the blind young man and the girl who defeated the young man. They had never thought that there would be such a powerful existence by the side of the blind young man. As for the cultivation that Yunkai displayed, they could feel that she was a middle-stage god-emperor. Such a genius should be very famous in this place. But they had never heard of her strength before. Just like the blind young man, she appeared out of nowhere and was unpredictable. Many thanks to young master for saving my life. Hearing the strange sound behind her, Yunkai turned around. When she saw the young man who died in the hands of Lin Rei, she immediately understood what happened. She then bowed to Lin Rei and thanked him. Humph. I've told you before that enemies are unforgivable. Being merciful to your enemies is being cruel to yourself. This is a living example. Looking at the clouds in front of him, Lin Rei's expression turned cold. He reprimanded, "Remember, I will save you this time, but next time, you won't be so lucky. At the same time, I will save you. If you can't kill decisively, then you are all trash to me. The strong are respected, and the unfit are eliminated. Survival of the fittest. This is the unchanging law of the cultivation world. Yes, young master. You're right. It won't happen again. At this moment, Yunsai's face was filled with respect. She remembered what Lin Rei had said and didn't dare to forget it. At the same time, she also knew that if Lin Rei hadn't intervened just now, she would have died. She would probably be a dead woman by now. In response, Yunkai felt a lingering fear. If that was really the case, then she had reaped what she had sown. If she had approached him, she would have been able to kill him. At this moment, Zhuge Mingyue, who was in Lin Rei's embrace, also heard his reprimand. At this moment, she suddenly felt that Lin Rei wasn't as shameless as he appeared to be. In fact, at this moment, she even wanted to be by his side and explore the mysteries about him. However, if a woman was curious about a strange man and wanted to explore him, it meant that she wasn't far from falling. Of course. Zhuge Mingyue didn't notice this at all. What she wanted to know was when Lin Rei would let her go. Got it. Seeing Yunsai's attitude, Lin Rei's smile returned to his face. He nodded at her, then turned to look at the three people. Hey, this person is from your sword sect. Looking at them, Lin Rei couldn't help but mock, you saw it too. Although I accidentally killed him, but, in the end, this matter is still his fault. If he hadn't launched a sneak attack from behind, I wouldn't have attacked, right? So. As he spoke, Lin Rei seemed to have sunk into deep thought. However, he quickly came back to his senses and continued, so, I'll return this person to you. Whether or not this grudge can be resolved, it all depends on you. As he spoke, Lin Rei waved his hand and fiercely flung it in the direction of the three old men. Whoosh! At this moment, the young man whose head was pierced by the folding fan and hung on the folding fan was flung away by Lin Rei. A figure rapidly shot towards the three old men. His speed was so fast that the three old men were instantly shocked. Subconsciously, they prepared to use their hands to catch him. However, at that moment, they recalled the situation with Jian Feng. For a moment, the three old men hesitated before withdrawing their hands. Just like this, the three old men let the corpse fly across the sky and into the distance, ignoring it. When this scene appeared, the corner of Lin Rei's eyes twitched violently. Then, he helplessly shook his head. TSK, TSK, TSK. I didn't expect you to be so disrespectful to the corpse of your fellow sect member. Really? Sigh. As he spoke, Lin Rei sighed. He knew the reason behind this. Therefore, Lin Rei couldn't help but make fun of them. Damn, you still have the nerve. If it wasn't for your previous actions, how could they let the corpse fly and ignore it? In the end, it's all your fault. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Zhuge Mingyue rolled her eyes at Lin Rei. The corner of her mouth couldn't help but twitch. However, because her mouth was sealed by Lin Rei, she could only complain in her heart. Young master, the meal is ready for you. Do you want to go now or? Just as everyone was silent and Lin Rei was bored, Chu Si's voice suddenly sounded. Immediately, a smile appeared on Lin Rei's face. Then, he turned around and said loudly, okay, let's go now. The world is big, but eating is the most important thing. As he spoke, Lin Rei ignored the three old men and walked towards Chu Si with Zhuge Mingyue in his arms. At this moment, when Lin Rei left, the three old men didn't stop him. It wasn't that they didn't want to, it wasn't that they weren't in a hurry. They also wanted to snatch Zhuge Mingyue, but they didn't have the strength. Especially after seeing Lin Rei and Yunkai's strength, they didn't have the opportunity to do so. Moreover, when they saw Xiaofan making a move, the three of them felt a suffocating aura from her. They had never felt such an aura from Lin Rei, or even the sect elders and sect master. Even the sect's supreme elders who had reached the godly venerable realm did not have such an aura. If they were afraid of Lin Rei, then they were ashamed of their inferiority when facing Xiaofan. They had already determined from their souls that they were no match for Xiaofan. Just like that, Lin Rui left with Zhuge Mingyue, Xiaofan, and the others. The three old men didn't stop them like they did before. They knew that they didn't have the ability to stop them. As for Xiaofan, after knowing that Lin Rui was done, she withdrew the energy that she was protecting the ordinary people and left with Lin Rui. What should we do, fourth elder? We didn't bring Mingyue back and Jian Tong was killed. If we go back now, I'm afraid we won't be able to explain it to the sect master. Sigh. At that moment, Jian Feng, one of the three sword sect elders who stayed behind, frowned when he heard Jian Yun's words. His face turned solemn. What's the big deal? We're not as good as him. If we lose, we'll just tell the truth. Moreover, I believe that even if the sect master comes personally, he won't be a match for that blind young man. Looking at the two of them, Jian San, who was at the side, said indifferently, moreover, both of you know Jian Tong's cultivation. The sect leader knows as well. I'm afraid other than the Grand Elder, I can't think of anyone else who can kill him in one move. Let me ask you, how can we fight against such a powerful person? If we can't, then let the sect leader come personally. In any case, the once-in-a-century alchemy competition is in 10 days or so. We'll have to come sooner or later. Why don't we come early? That makes sense. Hearing Jian San's words, Jian Feng's eyes lit up and he said, let's do it this way. Since we can't defeat him, we'll ask the sect master to come personally. Only when he's defeated will he believe us. This way, we'll have a good excuse for our dereliction of duty this time. Okay. Since the fourth elder has agreed, what else do you have to say? Let's do it this way. Jian Yun said with a treacherous smile on his face. TSK, now I'm eager to see the sect master being defeated by a young man. At that moment, under Chu Si's lead, they arrived at a place called the Cloud Room. Then, they followed Chu Si to their reserved seats. This was the best place in the Cloud Room and it was next to a window on the second floor. Everyone sat down. Lin Rui looked very relaxed. As for Zhuge Mingyue, Lin Rui had placed her beside him and let her sit alone. At this moment, he was no longer as shameless as he was when he hugged Zhuge Mingyue so intimately that there was no space between them. At this moment, Lin Li had never imagined that not long after he left, the three elders of the sword sect would actually join forces to make a fool of their superior, the master of the sword sect. At that moment, Lin Rui was very calm. However, in this calm moment, his two wives, Bing and Ying, appeared in his mind. Sigh, I don't know how they are. With their cultivation, there's probably no one in the outer god realm who can hurt them. Moreover, with the three ghost kings, they should be very safe. Time passed by slowly. In the face of Lin Rui's silence, no one dared to say anything. As a result, everyone fell into silence. Young masters and young ladies, this is the wine that you ordered. Please drink it first. The dishes will be served soon. Wine. When the waiter's voice rang out, Lin Li, who had sunk into silence, immediately woke up when he heard the word wine. He immediately released his divine sense. When he saw that there were 5 jars of wine on the table, Lin Li did not say anything and directly grabbed a jar of wine. He then raised his head and began to violently gulp down mouthful after mouthful of wine. Gulp. Gulp. The silent atmosphere was broken by this sound. Have you heard? The disciple of the Alchemy Guild's President Liu, Fairy Bai Yi, seems to have broken through to the emperor level. Moreover, the guild announced that she will participate this time. Yes, Fairy Bai Yi. She's a fairy-like existence. It's really an honor for us to be able to see her. TSK, honor? Why don't you take a look at your appearance? It's like a joke. If Fairy Bai sees your ugly appearance, I'm afraid she won't be able to sleep at night and will be so scared that her furnace will explode. At this moment, the topic of discussion reached Lin Rei's ears. In an instant, Lin Rei slowly put down the jar of wine in his hand and listened carefully. Although he didn't think highly of the emperor-level alchemist, he knew that a woman in front of him could persevere. After all, concocting pills was not an easy task. It was extremely hard work, and there was often the risk of cauldrons exploding. Most women valued their appearance the most, and the risk of cauldrons exploding was that they would be disfigured. Therefore, Linley was interested in this. If a woman could persevere until she reached the emperor level, it meant that she had a lot of potential. Sigh. Forget it. If there's a monster in this world, I'm afraid Fairy Bai is one of them. She's more than 800 years old this year and is considered a junior in the cultivation world. To be able to become an emperor-level alchemist at such a young age, TSK, who else? Who else? Oh. Emperor level, 800 years old? Hearing this, Lin Rei frowned and a smile appeared on his face. Lin Rei guessed that Fairy Bai was flirting with Zhuozhuo before, but after hearing this news, he was sure that this woman was very likely to be comparable to his adopted daughter's constitution of the god of medicine. Lin Rei was full of curiosity about Fairy Bai. He even had an impulse to dig up the Xuanzong sect immediately. At this moment, Lin Rei was indescribably excited. Thinking that there would be another powerful alchemist in the Xuanzong sect, he was even more relieved to leave in the future. Oh. What's wrong? Are you tempted? Evil Phoenix, who had been watching Linley's smile the entire time, guessed correctly. He knew that upon hearing this, Linley would naturally be tempted. TSK. You know me best, Xiaofan. Looking at Xiaofan, Lin Rei smiled and said indifferently, I usually won't let go of such a talented person. Besides, alchemy is one of my few strengths, so I should be confident that I can dig her up and make use of her. Oh, you are so confident. At this moment, Xiaofan couldn't help but mock Lin Rei's words. However, I have to say the ugly words first. Although you are confident, if you don't succeed, wouldn't it be a real slap in the face? If that really happens, then your illustrious reputation as the sect master and the strongest expert of your generation will vanish just like that. What? The leader of a sect? At this moment, Zhuge Mingyue, who was sealed by Lin Rei, heard Xia Feng's words and her eyes widened in shock. He knew what it meant to be the master of a sect. When he thought of Linley's strength, he couldn't help but guess how powerful the sect the Evil Phoenix was talking about was. Chapter 7:19. Alright, go back to your room and cultivate after you're done eating. Chu Ci, follow me to the Alchemy Guild and see how Bai Yi's talent is. See if there's a chance to get her to join us. If that's the case, I believe that our sect can still be powerful without me. Yes, young master. Chu Ci nodded respectfully after hearing Lin Rei's words and did not refute. By this time, most of the dishes had been served. Looking at the delicious food on the table, Linley's appetite was aroused. However, he didn't seem to be affected at all. Ignoring the strange look on Zhuge Mingyue's face, he reached out and grabbed a demonic beast's leg and began to eat. At this moment, he was not affected at all by the strong. He was like a hungry ghost who was obsessed with the food in front of him. Ha ha ha. Seeing Lin Rei like this, Xiaofan stood up and poured a bowl of wine for Lin Rei, as if she was afraid that he would choke. As for Xiaofang's wine, Lin Rei did not hesitate and downed it in one gulp. At this moment, he was really gulping down wine and meat. He was just short of saying a slogan and he would really become a bandit. Lin Rei and the others swept through the food like a tornado and left nothing behind. The 6 jars of wine were also emptied by Lin Rei. In this short period of time, Zhuge Mingyue was sitting at the side with her back straight. Only her eyes were darting around. No one knew what she was thinking. Of course, this was not what she wanted. She also wanted to eat, she also wanted to drink, but she could not speak, let alone move. Therefore, she could only protect the painful torture in front of her. The meal was quickly finished. Looking at the empty plates on the table, Lin Rei smiled and took out a large sum of money from his storage ring. He threw it to Yun Kai and said, "Here's your money. Pay for the food and the room. If you're bored after this, go out with Xiaofan and walk around this prosperous Jade City. I believe that no one can do anything to you here." "Yes, I understand." Looking at the money in her hand, Yun Kai nodded and said in surprise. As for what Lin Rei said, he believed that this was what most girls wanted to do. After all, shopping was their natural instinct. "Alright, Zhuge Mingyue, just watch." As he spoke, Lin Li turned his head and said to Evil Phoenix, "In a while, set up a seal on her body to prevent her from escaping. Remember, no matter what she says, you can't let her go. She's still useful." Looking at Lin Rei, Xiaofan couldn't help but roll her eyes and say to him, "I know. Stop being so long-winded. Do you really think I'm stupid? By the way, find a time to release my son. I haven't seen that little thing for a long time. I wonder how he is now." "Oh, you still remember your son?" Hearing Xia Feng's words, Lin Rei said with a look of surprise, "It's been so long since I asked. I thought you had forgotten about your precious son." "You, That, I'll leave first." After saying that, Lin Rei immediately regretted it. The moment he finished speaking, Xia Feng's expression turned cold. Lin Rei immediately became terrified. Facing Xiaofan, he had no choice but to be terrified. After all, her strength was not just a little bit stronger than his, but by a large margin. According to his initial estimation, he would probably be able to catch up to Xiaofan in another 4,000 years. And in this 1,000 years, he would try his best not to quarrel with Xiaofan. Of course, when his strength increased enough to fight against Xiaofan, at that time, he would make up for all the grievances and humiliations he had suffered from her. Not a single thing could be left out. Pfft! This kid, at this moment, sitting in his seat. With a cold expression, Xiaofan watched Lin Rei leave as if he was escaping. Instantly, her face was filled with joy. At this moment, Zhuge Mingyue, who was beside her, was filled with confusion. She had always been curious about the veiled woman in front of her. Although her cultivation was sealed, she could still feel the enormous power that came from Xia Feng's body that made her feel suffocated. She believed that even her own father or ancestors were nothing in front of this mysterious woman in front of her. At this moment, Lin Rei and Chu Ci, who had just left the restaurant, were looking at the dazzling array of things being sold around them. However, in Lin Rei's eyes, they were all trash. He didn't care. After all, he had seen many good things. He really didn't care about these things. "Young master, I wonder what we are?" Chu Ci, who was following behind, asked. "Go to the Alchemy Guild and register as a Supreme Alchemist. This way, it will be easier to do things in Qiong City." Hearing Lin Rei's nonchalant words, Chu Ci was speechless. What did he mean by registering as a Supreme Alchemist? If other alchemists heard this, they would probably rush up and fight him to the death. After all, the status of an alchemist was very honorable. No matter where it was, whether it was the outer layer of the realm of the gods or the inner layer of the realm of the gods. As long as one was an alchemist, whether it was in a sect or a guild, they would be greatly nurtured. Especially a supreme alchemist like Lin Rei. There were probably only a few of them in the entire realm of the gods. Of course, there would always be someone better. Lin Rei believed that other than himself, there must be other supreme alchemists. It was just that they didn't like to come out into the world. Lin Rei, stop. The sudden voice caused Lin Rei to stop in his tracks. He was stunned on the spot as if he had been immobilized. And the voice that stopped him was the little dragon, who hadn't appeared for a long time. At this time, the little dragon's voice was very hurried. His face was full of excitement as he appeared from the system and appeared in front of Lin Rei. Lin Rei attached great importance to the little dragon. Now that he was acting like this, Lin Rei was puzzled. What's the matter? Why are you so happy? Tell me. Hurry. Hurry up and buy that thing. It can help me build my physical body. The little dragon said excitedly as he pointed at a black fist-sized stone on the side of the stall. What? As soon as the little dragon said that, in an instant, Lin Rei was shocked. For a moment, his heart was full of information. One must know that he had been preparing for the little dragon to build his physical body. Unfortunately, he didn't find any treasure in the realm of the gods that could help the little dragon build his physical body. Now that the little dragon suddenly said that, Lin Rei was of course happy. He also decided that no matter how much money the other party spent, he would be willing to pay. Even if he had to lose his entire fortune, he wouldn't hesitate. As he said that, the little dragon pointed at a black stone and it fell into Lin Rei's mind. For a moment, Lin Rei was stunned. At this moment, Lin Rei's face was full of disbelief and disbelief. After all, the thing he saw at this moment didn't have any spiritual energy. It wasn't even the 5 elements essence wood that he imagined. Looking at that thing, Lin Rei was stunned and said, "Are you sure it's that thing?" "Yes, it's that thing, Yongtai. This thing is the first thing that came out of the chaos after Hongmeng split open the sky." Are you sure?" Looking at that black stone, he really couldn't imagine that it was something that came out of Hongmeng after the sky was split open. "Okay, just buy it." Sigh. Seeing the little dragon so excited, Lin Rei nodded in agreement. "Okay, since you said so. I'll buy it." With that, Lin Rei walked to the side of the stall. At this time, sitting at the stall was an old man. One of his face was full of wrinkles, and the other was wrinkled with mud. Looking at him, Lin Rei frowned. This person is not simple. Looking at the old man, Lin Rei muttered in his heart. It turned out that just now, when Lin Rei looked at his body, he felt a familiar feeling, and this feeling was the formation. However, this feeling flashed and disappeared without a trace. After all, he had never heard of a formation in a person's body. Of course, the world was big and there were all kinds of strange things, but he had never seen it before. Moreover, that aura disappeared in an instant. Again, he thought that it was his illusion. After all of his experiences were on the black stone placed on the stall. "Boss, how much is this black stone?" At this moment, the old man, who had been resting with his eyes closed, heard that someone wanted to buy something. His eyes flashed with a sharp light. But this flash was so quick that no one else could detect it, but Lin Li did. Hiss. This person. At this moment. The more Lin Rei thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. After all, that sharp light just now made him want to investigate the old man's actions. Looking at Lin Rei, the old man closed his eyes again and said indifferently, "The price of the black stone is 500,000 purple gold." What? 500,000, purple gold coins. Chu Xi cried out in shock. Regarding this, even Lin Rei was stunned. He never thought that Chu Xi would have such a big reaction. Moreover, he was the one who wanted to buy this thing, and he was the one who paid for it. He was a little stunned that Chu Xi was so surprised. Buy it or not, 500,000 purple gold is the only one. Buy it, pay up, or scram. Enough. Hearing this, Xiaofan was about to fly into a rage, but at this moment, Lin Rei hurriedly stopped her and said, 500,000 it is. Saying this, Lin Rei used his divine telekinesis and took out 550,000 purple gold from the system. He put it in a storage ring and handed it to the old man, saying, "Here are 550,000 purple gold. 500,000 purple gold is for me to buy the black stone, and the extra is to compensate for my subordinate's rudeness. I hope you don't mind." Hearing Lin Rei's words, the old man opened his eyes, and a light flashed in his eyes. A trace of approval flashed in his eyes, and he said, "Okay, since that's the case, this old man will accept it. You can leave." Saying this, the old man closed his eyes again. Seeing this, Lin Rei immediately took the black stone and left the stall. However, before he left, Lin Rei didn't forget to take a look. After sighing deeply in his heart, he left. At this moment, Chu Xi was like a child who had done something wrong. She followed behind Lin Rei with her head lowered, her face full of embarrassment, and she didn't say a word. As for Lin Rei, he split his divine telekinesis into two and did two things at once. One was used to see the road, and the other was used to enter the system, and he handed the black stone to the little dragon. Ha ha ha. Sure enough. It's really this. At this moment, the little dragon held the stone with an extremely excited expression, as if it was the happiest thing in the world. I still can't believe that this thing without any spiritual energy can help you forge a body. Looking at the little dragon, Lin Rei still had an expression of disbelief. He really couldn't understand why the little dragon had to use this thing. After all, if the material used to forge a body wasn't good, it would hinder his future cultivation. To the little dragon, who was his teacher, friend, and father, Lin Rei wouldn't throw this kind of body to him. Alright, don't be confused. Seeing Lin Rei like this, the little dragon's heart warmed for a moment, and he immediately opened his mouth to explain. However, his excited expression still didn't disappear. Although this young iron doesn't have any spiritual energy, it's the only thing I want to forge a body for. It's not for any other reason, but because it's very hard, and it's not afraid of any magic. What? It's not afraid of any magic? How is that possible? At this moment, Lin Rei was shocked. The words, "not afraid of any magic," already showed that this thing was extraordinary. One must know that if he used this thing to forge a body, then when his cultivation level increased, he would be able to suppress all heroes and prodigies. At that time, who would be his opponent? That's right. Looking at Lin Rei's shock, the little dragon smiled as if he already knew that Lin Rei would be like this. Of course, although it's not afraid of any magic, it does have its drawbacks. Every time it's not afraid of any magic, there will be a period of recovery time. Maybe 1 day, maybe 10 days, maybe even longer. I still have to study this point. The originally shocked Lin Rei was now stunned. If that was the case, then he would still make the same decision as before. He was different because the little dragon used this thing to forge a body. But looking at the excited expression on the little dragon's face, he knew that no matter what he said, the little dragon would no longer listen to him. No, it seems like I have to find a better material for the little dragon as soon as possible. I hope he can change his decision today. In this regard, Lin Rei secretly prayed in his heart. Okay, you can go now. During this period of time, I will study it in my heart. When we arrive at the ancient corpse trove, inform me. Although I can't help you with the other mission, this mission is more than enough. Okay, I know, you, sigh. Looking at the little dragon obsessively looking at the young iron in his hand, Lin Rei sighed and then left. Before leaving, Lin Rei once again tried to persuade him, but the final result was the same as before. In this regard, Lin Rei didn't say much and then left the system and returned to his body. "Young master, we're here." At this moment, just as Lin Rei's other consciousness returned to his body, he heard Chu Si's words. Immediately, Lin Rei stopped and looked at the words, Alchemy Guild, with his consciousness. For a moment, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Chapter 720. Let's go in and take a look at the Alchemy Guild. As he spoke, he took a step forward and walked into the Alchemy Guild, which had quite a bit of influence in the inner layer of the deity realm. "Hey, quick, Master Yuan doesn't have much purple caltrop grass left. Hurry up and bring it over. Master Lu doesn't have much heavenly Yuan grass left. Hurry up and bring more. Don't neglect it, buy something, bring it." At this moment, the scene outside was completely different from the inside. Although it was chaotic outside, it wasn't as chaotic as inside. At this moment, what appeared in front of Linley was one figure after another, all of whom were busy at work. Looking at this scene, Lin Rei couldn't help but smile. He hadn't seen this scene for a long time. Back in the immortal world, he had only experienced it when he was a grandmaster. At this moment, he looked at the busy people. Linley suddenly had the urge to open his cauldron and start concocting pills. Moreover, when he heard the words heavenly Yuan grass and purple caltrop grass, Lin Rei knew that they were indispensable ingredients for the heavenly Yuan pill and purple cloud pill. The heavenly Yuan pill and purple cloud pill were both grandmaster pills. Moreover, the pill formula was very complicated. If you want to refine them, it means that you're a decent alchemist. Looking at the busy figures, Lin Rei turned his head and said to Chu Ci behind him, "Can you refine grandmaster pills now?" Grandmaster. Grandmaster pills. Chu Ci's face was full of awkwardness. Sigh. Looking at Chu Ci's expression, Lin Rei knew that he couldn't do it. "Alright, I'll go and become a grandmaster alchemist in a while. Just watch how I refine the pills. Of course, whether you can comprehend it or not will depend on your comprehension. When I refine the pills, I'll try my best to slow down. You can adjust yourself and be mentally prepared." Yes, I understand, young master." Chu Ci exclaimed excitedly. His face was currently filled with indescribable joy. Ever since he had followed Lin Rei, he had very rarely had the chance to see Lin Rei refine pills. As a result, he was more than happy to have the opportunity right now. Even if his cultivation had to regress an entire realm, he would probably be willing to do so. After all, in his life, an alchemist was indispensable. In the past 1,000 years, he had experienced that humans were unreliable. Other than himself and the alchemical pills he refined, he had spent all his time with alchemical pills. Now that he heard that he could witness a revered great alchemist concoct alchemical pills, how could he not be happy? Alright, don't be happy too early. Whether you can comprehend it or not still depends on yourself. I can't help you with this. Seeing Chu Ci's reaction, an imperceptible smile appeared at the corners of Linley's lips. It disappeared in the blink of an eye. After saying that, Lin Rei released his divine sense and arrived at the front desk. At this moment, there was a woman at the front desk. Her face was delicate and pretty, giving off a comfortable feeling. However, because she was too busy, she didn't notice Lin Rei's arrival. Her head was still lowered as she busied herself with her own matters. At this moment, Chu Ci, who was behind Lin Rei, saw that the woman was being so tactless and said in a low voice, "Miss, my young master has been standing here for a long time. Why didn't you greet him? You're very rude and undisciplined, do you know that?" Perhaps because Chu Ci's voice was too loud, the busy woman at the front desk cried out in surprise. At this moment, seeing Lin Rei and Chu Ci, the woman at the front desk came back to her senses. Her previously frightened expression returned to normal. She then said with a guilty expression, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here. Saying that, the woman hurriedly bowed and apologized. Immediately, Chu Ci felt a little embarrassed. His face turned red and he didn't say anything else. At this moment, looking at the woman, Lin Rei's impression of her became even better. She was neither arrogant nor rash, respectful and humble. If everyone was like this, then this world would be perfect. It's fine. Saying that, Lin Rei said indifferently, Today, I'm here to prove my identity as a pill refiner. Are there any rules? Prove my identity as a pill refiner? Hearing Lin Rei's words, the woman was stunned. She then came back to her senses and said with a shocked expression, Sir, you're saying that you want to prove your identity as a pill refiner? Seeing the woman in a daze, Lin Rei was stunned. He then came back to his senses and said, That's right. Are there any rules or conditions for proving my identity as a pill refiner? At this moment, the woman's face was full of joy. She then said, Yes, to prove your identity as a pill refiner, you have to pay money. Different levels of pill refiners require different amounts of money. Oh? There's such a thing? At this moment, Lin Rei was a little confused. He remembered that when he was proving his identity as a pill refiner, he was only given money to use the spiritual medicine. Of course, different places required different things. Lin Rei didn't say anything about this. Yes, that's right. At this moment, looking at the blind young man in front of him, he wondered if the young man was really a pill refiner. However, the woman didn't ignore Lin Rei because of this. Instead, she was extremely patient. With a smiling face, she welcomed Lin Rei with a smile and told him everything he needed to prove his identity as a pill refiner. Pill refiners are divided into mortal, human, mystic, earth, heaven, king, emperor, sect, supremacy, saint, immortal, and hongmeng. Of course, the exalted realm is also not bad in the immortal realm. Until now, there are only 2 exalted realm alchemists on the surface, and one of them is even a loose cultivator. This person's whereabouts are erratic, and he is truly a celestial being. Oh? What about the other one? Lin Rei asked indifferently. The other one is the founder of the Alchemy Guild. By Tian Shan, this person hasn't left the mountain for more than 500,000 years. Until now, no one knows where he is. Some people say that he has broken through the shackles of the supremacy realm and entered the saint realm. Some say that because he hasn't comprehended, he is still comprehending Pill Dao and cultivation in his ancestral land. Of course, there are different opinions. Everyone has their own version. Some people even say that he is dead. There is no conclusion until now. Hearing this, Lin Rei smiled and said, according to what you said, these 2 supremacy realm pill refiners, although their names are in the guild, no one has shown up. Is there any difference between that and not having a supremacy realm pill refiner? This. After being asked by Lin Rei, the woman didn't know what to say. She looked troubled. Well, back to the topic. Let me tell you the rules of proving your identity. The woman saw that she couldn't win against the person in front of her. Then, she changed the topic and returned to the original topic. Proving your identity as a pill refiner, no matter if it is mortal, human, profound, or earth, heaven, king, and so on. They all need to pay the corresponding verification fee. Go to the mortal level. His verification fee is not good. It only costs 100 purple gold coins. Oh. Hearing this, Linley's eyebrows furrowed, and his face revealed a look of shock. Purple gold coins, according to an ordinary person, one purple gold coin was equivalent to 6 or 7 years of an ordinary person's expenses. But just to be certified as a common-grade alchemist required 100 purple gold coins. To ordinary people, especially those true alchemy geniuses, this was a kind of pitch-black road ahead of them. There were even some true geniuses who, because they couldn't afford this enormous amount of money, died prematurely. Of course, although he was unhappy with the Alchemy Guild, this was not something he could deal with. At this moment, he just wanted to end everything here quickly and then cultivate in peace. It was like advancing to the Holy Realm during the New Year. Only then would he have a chance to live. Yes, and so on. The mortal level requires 1,000 purple gold coins, the mystic level requires 2,000 purple gold coins. Until the emperor level, it requires 7,000 purple gold coins. As long as you pay the appropriate handling fee, you can go through the verification. Speaking up to here, the woman looked up at Lin Ray and continued, if the verification is successful, the Alchemy Guild will give out the corresponding alchemist robe and the corresponding alchemist medal. I understand. Hearing this, Lin Ray roughly understood. In other words, if he wanted to be verified as a venerable level pill refiner, he had to pay 8,000 purple gold coins. Thinking up to here, Lin Ray nodded. Then, with a thought, he took out 8,000 purple gold coins from his storage ring and placed it in front of the woman. Seeing the young man like this, the woman hurriedly lowered her head. When she saw so many purple gold coins, the woman roughly estimated that this was at least the verification fee of an emperor-level pill refiner. In an instant, the woman's attitude towards Lin Ray became even more respectful. After all, an emperor-level pill refiner had a high status in the Alchemy Guild. How could she, as a receptionist, offend him? Thinking about this, the woman still lost. To be able to work here, one must have a cultivation level. When she checked the money, the woman's divine sense swept over and was instantly shocked. Her face was even more shocked. 8,000, this. At this moment, looking at the number of purple gold coins in front of her and the division according to the level, the idea of a venerable level pill refiner appeared in her mind. At this moment, the woman's mouth was wide open. She was so speechless that an egg could be stuffed into it. At this moment, the woman's gaze towards Lin Ray was filled with respect and fear. In the end, she even lowered her head and didn't dare to look at him again. Although she wasn't sure if Lin Ray had the ability to take out so many purple gold coins, and to be verified as a venerable level pill refiner, her cultivation level must be so high that people looked up to her. However, towards Lin Ray, the woman still didn't dare to believe. She asked, "Sir, are you sure that you want to verify as a venerable level pill refiner?" "Heh. Of course, I have been in the venerable level for a long time. It's time to verify it. If I didn't help someone this time, I'm afraid I wouldn't have come." When she heard Lin Ray say, "I have been in the venerable level for a long time," the woman's heart was filled with shock. "Let's go. Go and arrange for an alchemist for me. The sooner we finish, the sooner we'll be fine. I still have things to do later." Looking at the woman, Lin Ray couldn't help but speak. What he said was true. He wanted to impart his alchemy techniques to Chu Ci in the following process. Then, he wanted to raise his alchemy realm as much as possible. Of course. If he could raise it to the master level, that would be even better. Of course, this was only one of the reasons. The other reason was Zhuge Mingyue. Yes. I'll bring you in right now." As she spoke, the woman walked in front with a trembling body. She led Lin Ray into the depths of the guild. Looking at her, Lin Ray didn't know if she was excited or afraid. Lin Ray just smiled and didn't pay much attention to it. Soon, under the woman's lead, Lin Ray came to an alchemy room. Then, the woman stopped and said, "Senior, this room will do. You can go in first. I'll go and find our guild master to become a venerable level alchemist. At this level, only the guild master can make the decision." All right. Go ahead." With Lin Rei's consent, the woman hurriedly walked deeper. The woman couldn't stop along the way. One had to know that becoming a venerable level alchemist was a huge matter. She knew that a small figure naturally wouldn't be able to supervise it. Moreover, a venerable level alchemist hadn't appeared for a long time. At this moment, the guild master was only a peak grandmaster level alchemist. He was just one step away from becoming a venerable level alchemist. Of course, this step seemed simple, but in reality, there was a huge gap that couldn't be crossed. At this moment, the dean was at the top floor of the guild. At this moment, in the dean's room, an old man and a young woman, a man and a woman, sat facing each other. The old man looked at the woman opposite him with a kind smile and spoke in a very gentle tone. "Yun, now that you're also a low-level emperor-level alchemist, shouldn't you do something for the guild?" "Tisk, Grandpa Guild Master, don't think that I don't know. In the end, don't you just want me to participate in the alchemy convention in 10 days? Then, the woman reluctantly continued, "Grandpa, you also know that I don't want to be in the limelight. I only want to inherit Grandpa's legacy and become a top alchemist in the God realm." "So, I know, but you also know that there are many young alchemists in the guild, but compared to you, they can't compare to you in terms of refining. Moreover, you have a kind of heavenly flame in your body, you, bang, bang, bang." Just as the old man was trying to dissuade the woman with a pleading expression, a hurried knocking sound came from the door. Immediately, the old man frowned. His expression was slightly unhappy. However, when he heard the knocking sound outside the door, he immediately thought that it was an urgent matter. He immediately gave up on arguing with the woman and raised his head. He said, "Come in." At this moment, the person outside the door was none other than the receptionist who had run all the way from the front desk. When the woman heard the sound coming from the room, her body trembled. Then, she mustered up her courage and pushed the door open. Seeing that the person who entered the door was a girl that he didn't recognize but looked somewhat familiar, the old man immediately asked, "What's the matter? Why are you so flustered, Lu?" "Guild Master Lu, there's someone outside who wants to be verified as an alchemist. Please go and host it." Verified as an alchemist? At this moment, the old man thought that it was an urgent matter. When he heard that it was because of this matter, he said in a displeased tone, "Do you still need to look for me for this matter? Can't you just find an elder in the guild? Alright, you can go now." After saying that, the old man waved his hand and signaled for her to leave. However, the woman continued to stand on the spot. In response, the old man who was addressed as Guild Master Lu saw that the woman didn't have a chance. His frown deepened. In the end, the word Chuan was formed. "Guild Master, I'm afraid that you're the only one who can verify the alchemist's identity. I'm afraid that the elders don't have the qualifications to verify the alchemist's realm." Chapter 721. What? The old man looked at the girl in confusion. He understood what she meant. One had to know that the elders of the guild were all emperor-level high-level alchemists, and some were even top-level alchemists. Even he, the guild leader, was only a zone-level middle-level alchemist. If the elders couldn't prove it, then it meant that the alchemist who had come was on par with him. However, he knew that he had never seen such a person in the entire divine realm. Therefore, he was very confused about the meaning of the girl's words. Even the woman who was called Yun at the side was at a loss and doubt at this moment. Of course, curiosity accounted for a large part of the confusion. Guild Master, the person who came to verify the alchemist's level is revered level. Boom, the old man's mind went blank. It was as if he was struck by lightning from the ninth heaven. At this moment, he seemed to have lost all his thoughts. At the same time, there was a strong sense of disbelief in his heart. Revered level, this level had not appeared for a long time. Now, one had suddenly appeared. Moreover, he wanted to verify his level here. This made him come back to his senses. The old man was not the only one. The woman called Yun was even more shocked than she looked. All sorts of expressions flashed across her face. Disbelief, doubt, bewilderment, dullness, and all sorts of other expressions flashed across her face and eyes. At this moment, the two of them instinctively chose not to believe. In their minds, it was impossible for a revered level alchemist to casually come out of the mountain. Moreover, he wanted to verify his level at this moment. Seeing the two of them in such a daze, the girl did not know what to do. When she thought that Master Wei was still waiting, the girl's heart was filled with anxiety. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, 10 minutes had passed. At this moment, the old man and the girl called Yun slowly came back to their senses. Looking at the person who came to report, the old man was puzzled. He asked in a heavy tone, "The person who came looks young. Is he an elder of the Danzong sect? Is he the sect master?" This. Hearing the old man's words, the girl pondered for a moment. Then, she said, "It's not an old man. It's a young man. Moreover, he doesn't seem to be an elder of the Danzong sect." Oh. Hearing this, the old man frowned. His face was filled with a playful smile. After the questioning just now, he instinctively chose that person to be a swindler. Because he didn't believe that a young man could reach the realm that everyone yearned for even in their dreams. He believed it, didn't want to believe it, and didn't dare to believe it. "Tell him to leave, Grandpa Lu. Since that's the case, let's go take a look. I want to see if that young man who claims to be able to refine venerable-grade medicinal pills is really a venerable-grade alchemist." Just as the old man was about to refuse, Yun quickly said, "Moreover, if it's true, then," at this point, he frowned. After a moment of silence, he raised his head and said with a smile, "That's fine. Let's see what that swindler is capable of." As he spoke, he stood up and gestured for the woman to lead the way. At this moment, when the girl at the front desk saw the old man's actions, the nervousness and fear in her heart lessened a little. He then turned around and walked towards the pill room where Lin Rei was. As for the old man and Yun they followed behind him, each thinking about something. Why isn't he here yet? Young master, could it be that the guild leader is too arrogant and doesn't want to come? At this moment, Lin Rei and Chu Xi were waiting in the pill room, but the woman who went to meet the guild leader still hadn't returned. Lin Rei was fine, but Chu Xi was furious. "No, young master, why don't I go and call him? If he doesn't come, I'll use force and kidnap him." Seeing Chu Xi's reaction, Lin Rei quickly stopped him and said, "Forget it, he probably doesn't believe that I'm a venerable-grade alchemist. After all, venerable-grade alchemists aren't everywhere, and I don't want cabbages or imperial-grade alchemists walking around everywhere." When Chu Xi heard Lin Rei say that imperial-grade alchemists were walking around everywhere, he looked embarrassed. It wasn't because of anything else, but because he was one of the imperial-grade alchemists that Lin Rei said were walking around everywhere. "Alright, since they didn't come, I'll take advantage of this time and let you experience the techniques and feelings of a top alchemist." Sensing Chu Xi's impatience, Lin Li hurriedly said to her, Young master, really?" Chu Xi exclaimed, his face full of excitement. Of course. As a member of the Xuanzong sect, Lin Rei, of course, you have to be a top alchemist to be worthy of me." After saying that, Lin Rei went into the room and sat down cross-legged. He took out a set of spiritual herbs that were needed to concoct a top-grade imperial-grade pill, the Heavenly Mystery Pill. Hiss! Looking at the spiritual herbs that Lin Rei took out casually, Chu Xi immediately sucked in a breath of cold air, his face full of surprise. He was envious of Lin Rei for being able to take out so many good things so casually. Although he was also an alchemist, and a mid-grade emperor-level alchemist at that, if he had to take out the same amount of elixirs as Linley, he wouldn't be able to do it. Because he didn't have Linley's background. Lin Rei, who was about to ask for the spiritual herbs, asked Chu Xi, "This time I'm going to concoct a top-grade imperial-grade pill, the Heavenly Mystery Pill. Although its grade isn't high, when concocting it, you have to concentrate fully and not be distracted. Oh, by the way, how many of the pills you concoct usually have pill veins?" This. Hearing this, Chu Xi scratched his head embarrassedly and stammered, unable to say anything. It's fine, just say it." Lin Rei immediately understood from Chu Xi's appearance that there weren't many pills with pill veins. Phew. Hearing Lin Rei's words, Chu Xi took a deep breath, then gathered his courage and said, "If you're dissatisfied, young master, actually, less than 10% of pills with pill veins are formed. Sometimes, they won't leave. Of course, if you're lucky, there might be 20%, but it's not certain. 20% is when you're lucky." At this moment, Lin Rei was silent after hearing Chu Xi's words, because he didn't know how to respond to Chu Xi's words. Lin Rei originally thought that no matter how bad Chu Xi's alchemy skills were, he would at least have 30% of pills with pill veins. But with such a response, he didn't know what else to say. As the saying goes, innate deficiencies must be made up for later. At this moment, the only way was to impart his alchemy techniques to Chu Xi, then help him refine pills and teach him. Only in this way would he be able to take first place in the alchemy competition. Of course, this was also the only way. During these 10 days, Lin Rei wanted a quick way to help Chu Xi, because at this moment, there was no other way. Thinking about this, Lin Rei said in a low voice, "All right, innate deficiencies must be made up for later. At this moment, you must use your heart to experience every pill technique I'm about to teach you." Without waiting for Chu Xi's reply, Lin Rei's expression turned serious, and a mysterious and profound aura emitted from Lin Rei's body. Boom! At this moment, a blood-red flame jumped out of Lin Rei's palm in the blink of an eye. The instant the flame appeared, the temperature in the room began to rise. Feeling this flame, Chu Xi's heart skipped a beat. Although he had at least seen it before, every time he saw this flame, he would feel a sense of fear and involuntarily take a step back. This was because he could feel the threat and the aura of death coming from the flame. This aura made him feel suffocated. Whoosh, whoosh, at this moment, Chu Xi's gaze was very serious. He saw Lin Rei throw all the herbs needed to refine the profound sky pill into the flame in his palm. Then, mysterious and profound seals appeared one after another. PFFF. 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 Suddenly, strange sounds could be heard. At this moment, Chu Xi's face was filled with jealousy, nervousness, and excitement. This was because Lin Rei wasn't using a cauldron at all. He was refining pills out of thin air. He had heard of this kind of refining before, but had never seen it before. After a short 30 breaths of time, one drop after another of various colored elixirs flew out from the flames, entering the pill bottle which Linley had prepared long ago. Watch carefully. This is the simplest refining to remove the impurities. However, the next step is the most important. The elixirs here all have different attributes. After finishing the refining process, Lin Rei began to explain to Chu Xi. For example, the fiery sun fruit and the water lingji mushroom have two attributes that are incompatible with each other. As the saying goes, the 5 elements restrict each other. You have to learn how to neutralize these 2 elixirs. Only then will you be able to bring out the medicinal properties of the elixirs. Having said that, Lin Rei stretched out his hand. A vigorous spirit energy instantly rushed out of his palm and absorbed all the elixirs in the pill bottle. Then, drops of different elixirs were thrown into the illusory spirit blood fire according to the ratio of the profound sky pill to the profound sky pill. Time passed bit by bit, and the spiritual liquid in Linley's hand was thrown into the flames bit by bit. His speed was so fast that it was as smooth as flowing water. This scene caused Chu Xi, who was watching from the side, to stare in a daze. Ha! 9 Dragons Pill Splitting Technique, split, a sudden shout came out of nowhere. In the flame, all the elixirs that were originally fused together began to separate under Lin Rei's pill technique. 1 became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 6, 6 became 12, and finally, 24 elixirs became embryonic form. Only then did the separation slowly stop. 9 Dragons Fusion Mantra, fuse. One by one, the mysterious runes seemed to come to life as they danced on Linley's fingertips. As they danced faster and faster, at a speed visible to the naked eye, the 24 embryonic pills began to slowly take shape within the illusory spirit bloodfire. Round, round, fragrant pills began to take shape, emitting a sweet fragrance. After a short period of 10 breaths, Lin Rei shouted. Immediately, the flame in his hand disappeared and 24 purple elixirs floated above Lin Rei's palm. Phew! Looking at the elixirs in his hand, Lin Rei nodded with satisfaction. I haven't refined elixirs for a long time. I thought I was rusty. Whoosh! With a shake of his hand, the 24 elixirs rushed into the elixir bottles that he had prepared beforehand. Here, after doing all this, Lin Rei didn't get up. He casually threw 2 bottles filled with heaven-profound elixirs to Chu Xi, who was standing beside him. Did you see it clearly? Lin Rei's consciousness locked onto Chu Xi's every move and expression. He wanted to see Chu Xi's reaction. He. I didn't see it clearly. You were too fast. I couldn't keep up with you. Chu Xi replied to Lin Rei embarrassedly. Sigh. Lin Rei had already expected Chu Xi's response. Moreover, he didn't have much hope. After all, his speed was indeed fast. The whole process didn't take more than 5 minutes. If the guild members knew that Lin Rei was refining elixirs, they would be shocked to death. Even a grandmaster alchemist would need several hours to concoct emperor-level pills. But if they knew that right now, Linley wasn't using his full strength in concocting pills, and was only using 40% of his strength, they would probably go crazy. Alright, I will help you during this time. After all, your foundation in alchemy was too weak. You can only rely on the day after tomorrow to make up for it. Lin Rei pointed at the elixirs in Chu Xi's hand and said, take a good look at this elixir. It has 8 elixir patterns. It can be considered the best of the best. I believe that even if you turn the entire God realm upside down, you won't be able to find many. 8 elixir patterns? Chu Xi was shocked again. 8 elixir patterns meant that an elixir with 10 elixir patterns was a perfect elixir. Elixirs with 8 elixir patterns were the best of the best. Surprised, Chu Xi hurriedly opened the medicinal pill bottle. Looking inside, she saw that the medicinal pills all had 8 pill veins. At this moment, the shock in Chu Xi's heart could no longer be described with words. She was shocked to the extreme. While Chu Xi was still in shock, the girl who went to call the guild leader arrived at the entrance of the elixir workshop. Guild leader, Miss Yun, we are here. That lord is inside. She said to the old man and the young woman behind her and pushed the door open. Just as the girl entered the room, the sound of pills rushing to her face rushed into her mouth and nose. This elixir. The old man who followed the girl in also smelled the elixir. As the guild leader, the name of the elixir immediately appeared in his mind. Primary Heaven Elixir. Yes, that's right. It's the Heavenly Yuan Pill, a top-grade royal-grade elixir. At that moment, Yun-Er, who was standing by the side, immediately opened her mouth and echoed the old man's words. Chu Xi was still in a state of shock when she heard the commotion behind her. Without a word, she released her mid-stage Soul Emperor aura and rushed behind her. SSS, this is, the Emperor realm? The sudden pressure caused the old man and the two ladies to be startled, causing their faces to turn pale. Chapter 722. Fear, despair, suffocation, surprise. At this moment, all kinds of complicated expressions appeared on their faces. All of these expressions were reflected in the eyes of the three people behind them. At this moment, the three of them felt as if they were being stared at by a ferocious beast. It felt as if the beast would rush up and swallow them at any time. Say. Senior, I'm the guild's president, Lu Yu. These are the emperor-level alchemists of the Alchemy Guild. We didn't mean to disturb you. Please, withdraw your pressure. I'm afraid that the two of them won't be able to withstand it. Lu Yu? Bai? Hearing the old man's self-introduction, Lin Rei nodded and signaled Chu Xi to withdraw her emperor's pressure. He stood up and patted the dust off his body. Of course, ever since he started cultivating, dust couldn't get close to him. At this moment, Lin Rei. He was just putting on an act. Taking a step forward, Lin Rei looked at the three people with his divine sense. He nodded and said in a low voice, "You're the president of the Alchemy Guild?" Yes. Lu Yu quickly replied. I'm the guild's president, Lu Yu. I wonder if Senior. At this moment, Lu Yu was very careful. Although her alchemy realm was very high, their cultivation was very low. Take Lu Yu for example. Although he was a middle-level alchemist, his true cultivation was only at the late stage of the Divine Monarch realm. He hadn't even reached the peak. Looking at him, Lin Rei nodded and said, "All right, since you're here, let's begin. I'll wait for you." After saying that, Lin Rei planned to turn around and refine the venerable level alchemy pills. At this moment, Chu Xi had already withdrawn her pressure. However, just as he turned around, a woman's voice sounded. Her voice was filled with doubt. "Senior, are you really an venerable level alchemist? It's easy to become an emperor level alchemist, but it's very difficult to become an venerable level alchemist. Are you sure you're an venerable level alchemist? Don't fail to pretend to be a wolf with a big tail. Instead, you'll lose a lot of face at that time." Hearing this, Lin Rei's brows furrowed. His face turned gloomy. He then turned around and looked at the person who spoke. "Bai? Do you have time to talk to Bai?" Lin Rei asked. "Yes, that's right. I am Bai." When the woman replied, her gaze was neither servile nor overbearing. She raised her chin high, as if she was looking down on others. Her gaze was even more arrogant. When he saw this, Lin Rei sighed in his heart and shook his head. He muttered in his heart, "Alas, I originally thought that this woman was a promising talent. I didn't expect that she would be so arrogant and dissatisfied." Of course, Lin Rei naturally didn't say these words out loud. Although he thought that in his heart, what he said was, "You want to know whether I'm a revered great alchemist or not? This has nothing to do with you. Moreover, in my opinion, you didn't even watch me refine medicinal pills. At this moment, Lin Rei's face was slightly angry. In my opinion, this little girl's temperament is stronger than yours. As he spoke, Lin Rei turned around and waved at Chu Ci. Then, he sat back down cross-legged. At this moment, when she saw Lin Rei's signal, she understood what he meant. She stepped forward and stood in front of Bai Yi. She said indifferently, "Miss, please leave. My young master doesn't wish for you to watch from here." As she spoke, she politely gestured for her to leave. "You." Seeing Chu Ci's reaction, Bai Yi's expression turned cold. She was about to explode in anger. However, just as she was about to unleash her anger, Lu Yu pulled her back and said in a low voice, "Yun, you should leave first. You can't afford to offend these people." "I can't afford to offend them." "Humph, what a joke." Looking at Lu Yu, Yun Kai's eyes were filled with mockery. She didn't hide her disdain at all. "I want to see how he's going to refine revered grade medicinal pills." Alas! Seeing this, Lu Yu nodded in disappointment. Then, he continued, "Yun, the person in front of you is a mid-D emperor. If that's the case, what about the blind young man's stall? What about his background?" Lu Yu was afraid that Bai Yi wouldn't compromise, so he continued, "Besides, if he can have a mid-D emperor as his bodyguard, how strong is his background? This is very important. Even though your clan is very strong, I feel that this young man's background is even stronger than your clan. Maybe he doesn't even care about your clan." Honestly speaking, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to convince Bai Yi. Of course, he wasn't lying about his analysis. He really did see that Lin Rei wasn't an ordinary person. At the same time, he was afraid that Bai Yi would continue to cause trouble. "Please leave." At that moment, Chu Ci spoke again. However, this time, his tone was extremely cold. It was as if he was suppressing a terrifying aura. If Bai Yi refused him again, he would immediately kill her without mercy. Bai Yi wasn't stupid. She could feel that the person in front of her was suppressing his anger. Thinking about the terrifying aura from before, Bai Yi was terrified. "Pfft, so be it. I don't want to see it." Bai Yi took a step forward and left the alchemy room. At this moment, the pill formulas were completely silent. Lin Li felt much better about this. Looking at Lu Yu, Lin Rei said, "I'm going to refine a pill called the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill. Do you know what it's used for?" "What? 9 Revolutions Profound Pill? That's..." Hearing Lin Rei say what pill he was going to refine, Lu Yu was shocked. His voice started to tremble. "That's right, the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill." Lin Rei smiled. Lin Rei had already expected Lu Yu's reaction. "Senior, is the 9 Revolutions Profound Essence Pill the kind that can help a cultivator break through a realm and raise their cultivation by a small stage without any side effects?" "Yes, that's it." Hiss. After receiving confirmation, Lu Yu sucked in a breath of cold air. His eyes were filled with excitement. Of course, as a top expert in the deity world, there were many things that could pique his interest. However, Lu Yu was only interested in refining pills. Moreover, the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill was an upper honorable pill. This pill had been lost for a long time. Even its name and effects were only known to him from ancient books. He had thought that he would never see such a pill in his life. Moreover, although the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill was an upper honorable grade pill, its refining method was not inferior to that of a lower sacred grade pill. Not only was the material rare, but its refining method was also extremely complicated. What was more difficult was that refining the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill required extreme control over the fire. Now that he heard that the person in front of him was going to refine the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill, he began to believe that the person in front of him was an honorable pill alchemist. This was because not many people knew the name of this pill. Including him, there were less than 5 people in the deity world who knew the name of this pill. The more Lu Yu thought about it, the more excited he became. He wanted to see the entire process of refining the 9 revolutions profound pill. He even wanted to obtain the 9 revolutions profound pill because it was the only way he could break through to the middle deity realm. With such a temptation, not to mention him, even an exalted realm expert might not care about their reputation and kill someone to steal the treasure after hearing about the effects of the pills. Little girl, come over here. Since you have nothing to do, why don't you watch how I refine the pill? If you can learn something from it, it'll be your fortune. At that moment, Linley suddenly spoke to the receptionist in the room. Don't worry, Mississippi, Me? At this moment, when the girl heard the sudden words, he was a little overwhelmed by the favor. She had never thought of such a good thing. Although she had wanted to learn how to refine pills before, she did not have enough purple coins for him to do so. However, when she heard that she could give it to him, she was so excited that she could not help but cry. Seeing her like this, Lin Rei laughed and waved his hand. Instantly, a red spiritual energy rushed out and turned into a chain that bound her. Then, he shook his hand and the girl was brought to a spot not far behind Lin Rei. Originally, Lin Rei wanted her to come closer to him. However, considering her cultivation level, he was afraid that she would not be able to withstand the temperature of the illusory spirit blood fire. In the end, he could only refine the pill behind him. After that, Lin Rei quickly took out the spiritual herbs needed to refine the 9 revolutions origin pill and divided them according to their respective proportions. Boom! Suddenly, the mirage bloodfire shot out of Linley's palm, floating in front of Linley as though it had a mind of its own. Hiss, this flame. When the flame appeared, Lu Yu was shocked. He could feel the threat, fear, and even the aura of death coming from the flame. It was his first time seeing this kind of flame, but it was unforgettable. After all, this kind of flame did not exist in the world. Of course, Lin Rei's flame was the only exception. Whoosh, whoosh, at this moment, Linley moved. Linley stretched out his hand and tossed all of the elixirs that had already been distributed into the flames. This. At this moment, Lu Yu wanted to kill him. He had never seen such a method of refining pills before. He started to doubt whether the person in front of him knew how to refine pills. Of course, he did not say anything and continued to watch. The world was full of wonders. Just because he had never seen it before did not mean that it did not exist. Thinking of this, Lu Yu's eyes fell on the flame in front of Lin Rei again. At this moment, the girl who was sitting not far behind Lin Rei had been watching Lin Rei's every move since the beginning. I feel something, but why can't I grasp it? At this moment, the girl was very anxious. In fact, she was very anxious. Feeling the girl's strange movements, Lin Rei immediately separated a trace of his consciousness and landed on the girl. When he saw her appearance at this moment, Lin Rei immediately frowned. Sigh, it seems that I've thought too much. Letting a person who has never refined pills see such a profound alchemy technique will not only not help her unlock it, but also cause her to go mad. Thinking of this, Lin Rei hurriedly sent a voice transmission to wake the girl up and tell her to stop comprehending. Junior high school did not dare to disobey Lin Rei's order. After receiving the order, Chu Xiai quickly came back to her senses. She reached out to wake the girl up and let her rest at the side. The girl did not complain at all. After all, she was already very grateful that she was able to witness this moment. She did not ask for anything else. Moreover, during this period of time, she seemed to have felt something. If she were to refine pills now, she had a feeling that refining a human-grade superior pill would not be a problem. Of course, this was just her wishful thinking. Whether it would succeed or not, she would have to test it out in the end. Suddenly, a loud shout attracted everyone's attention. They saw more than 30 drops of quenching liquid of various colors rushing out of the flame. At this moment, the moment the quenching liquid rushed out of the flame, Lin Rei took out the corresponding bottles according to the amount of quenching liquid on the ground. Dee-dong, 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 more than 30 drops of quenching liquid fell into the bottles. In just a breath's time, Lin Rei had completed the process. If this had happened to someone else, I'm afraid. Phew. Next, it's time to fuse the pills. Looking at the quenching liquid that had its impurities removed, Lin Rei smiled. Then, he activated the flame again. His hands sucked at the 30 bottles. Suddenly, all the quenching liquid flew out and was poured into the flame by Lin Rei. 9 Dragon Elixir Fusion Technique, melt for me. With a loud shout, Lin Rei cast a spell that made everyone confused. At first, it was very fast, but at least everyone could see it clearly. However, as time went by, Lin Rei's speed became faster and faster. In the end, even his shadow could not be seen. Therefore, everyone could only give up watching. At this moment, the more Lu Yu watched from behind, the more shocked he became. At this moment, he was certain that this blind young man in front of him was indeed a genuine venerable grade alchemist. Moreover, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was a saint-grade alchemist. Time passed bit by bit. The temperature in the room was getting higher and higher. At the beginning of the process, everyone could still accept it. However, as time went on, they could not bear it anymore. The heat was making them collapse. As for everyone's appearance, Lin Rei naturally saw it clearly. Although he was refining pills, he kept a trace of his divine sense on the 3 people behind him. However, to Lin Li's surprise, although the 3 of them couldn't stand it, the girl who had never refined pills before was completely different from before. Her eyes were wide open as she stared at him. She didn't even dare to blink for a moment, as if she was afraid of missing something. Seeing this, Lin Rei became curious. System, help me check all the information about this girl. Ding dong, yes, begin checking. Please wait a moment, 5 minutes. 8 minutes, ding dong, checking completed. Do you want to check? Chapter 723. Check. As soon as he finished speaking, all the information about the girl appeared in his mind in the form of words. Tian Yu, 860 years old, peak of late heaven immortal realm, supreme grade fire attribute spiritual root, low grade wood attribute spiritual root, dual spiritual roots, high grade perception, high grade aptitude. It can't be. Seeing how good Tianyue's attributes were, Lin Li was tempted to recruit her. One had to know that although her attributes weren't the best, they definitely wouldn't be bad. Moreover, what Lin Rei could not figure out was why the guild did not cultivate such a good person in front of him. Of course, Lin Rei had a good impression of the guild at this time. After all, they did not recruit Tian Yu. This time, he had benefited from it. Thinking of this, Lin Li had already decided to bring Tian Yu back to the sect. Although she was only a heavenly immortal, this was after all just the beginning. Her mission was to become an alchemist. In the future, her cultivation would slowly rise along with her motivation to become an alchemist. Lin Rei was not very worried about this. He was just afraid that Tian Yu would not leave with him. Thinking of this, Lin Rei had a slight headache. Originally, he wanted to recruit someone like Bai Yi. But after seeing her like this, Lin Rei was thoroughly disappointed. But it was also very good to pick up such a person. In other words, he did not return empty-handed. Thinking of this, Lin Rei's mood was slightly better. At this time, in the illusory spirit blood fire, the pill fusion part was completed at this moment. Oh! 9 Dragons Pill Fusion Technique, Fuse. With a loud shout, Lin Rei's pill fusion technique began to change. From the original 1 pill, the next moment, it became 24 pills. In the end, there was another change. The original 24 pills became 48 pills in the next moment. Each pill was round, smooth, and full of luster. At this time, the pill was different from the heavenly primary pill. The previous heavenly Xian pill had 8 elixir veins, but now, the 9 revolution heavenly Xian pill had 10 elixir veins. The fragrance of the pills wafted through the air. At this moment, the moment they smelled the fragrance of the pills, the 3 of them felt their realms begin to loosen. Hiss. Finally, my realm has loosened. At this moment, Lu Yu's face was filled with excitement the moment he smelled the pill fragrance. His heart was surging with excitement. The moment he smelled the 9 revolving profound origin pill, the bottleneck that had been bothering him for 1,000 years was finally broken. How could he not be excited? As long as he could break through to the next level, he would become an Emperor Realm Cultivator. Edited by Lifer, Fingerfox. Sensing this, Lu Yu wanted nothing more than to rush forward and grab one. However, when he saw the warning look in Chu Si's eyes, he felt as if a river from the 9 heavens had been poured over him. Sigh. With a sigh, Lu Yu hurriedly suppressed the excitement in his heart. He had seen Chu Si's great emperor's aura before. Ha! 9 Dragons Elixir Formation Technique, the elixir is complete. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lin Rei shouted. Immediately, the flames disappeared and the 48 9 revolutions black vitality pills floated in the air, but they didn't escape. Heh! Looking at them, Lin Rei curled his lips inexplicably. Then, he waved his hand and the 48 9 revolutions black vitality pills were placed in 5 pill bottles that he had prepared beforehand. Phew! After doing all this, Lin Rei let out a long breath and stood up. As for those 5 bottles of pills, Lin Li put away 4 of them and tossed the last one to Lu Yu. His face was filled with indifference, as though these pills were nothing more than ordinary pills. Take a look and see if this is a venerable grade pill. If it is, give me a venerable grade pill refiner's robe and a badge to prove it. Then, I can leave. Hearing this, Lu Yu opened the bottle with trembling hands. Instantly, an aura that captivated him appeared. For a moment, he had the urge to take it for himself. It's a high venerable grade pill, 9 revolutions black vitality pill. Moreover, I'm afraid that your alchemy realm is even higher than this. Lu Yu said excitedly as he lowered his head to look at the pills in the bottle. His eyes never left the bottle as if the pills would disappear in the next moment. Heh, if that's the case, that's great. Hearing this, Lin Rei smiled. Then, he waved his hand and spiritual energy rushed out of his palm and turned into a spiritual hand. It accurately grabbed the pill bottle in Lu Yu's hand and kept it. My! Lu Eugene couldn't help but open his mouth to say something when he saw Lin Li's ice-cold expression. He didn't dare to say anything else. My! Lu Eugene was about to say something when he saw Lin Li's icy expression. He swallowed the rest of his words and didn't dare to say anything else. If that's the case, give me the badge and robe. I still have things to do and I don't have time to waste here. After saying this, Lin Rei put the lid back on the pill bottle and kept it in his storage ring. Lin Rei didn't need to think to know what Lu Yu was thinking. However, if Lu Yu didn't give him something in return, it would be impossible for him to get the pills. Yes. Yes, I'll go now. Please wait for a moment. After saying this, Lu Yu quickly opened the door and left. Heh. Looking at Lu Yu's back, Lin Rei couldn't help but laugh coldly. Then, He retracted his consciousness and looked at Chu Ci. Looking at him, Lin Rei said, "How was it? Did you have any comprehension just now? Did you have any understanding of the pills that you refined?" This. Hearing Lin Rei's question, Chu Ci's face instantly turned red and a trace of guilt appeared on his face. Sigh. Hearing Chu Ci's hesitation, Lin Rei knew that he didn't have any comprehension. However, after thinking about it carefully, he realized that it was his fault. After all, he was only an imperial-grade alchemist. He couldn't force it. "Alright, since you didn't understand, from tomorrow onwards, I'll focus on teaching you the comprehension of an imperial-grade alchemist, as well as spiritual herbs, pill recipes, and pill techniques." "Yes, young master. I've already studied hard. In the alchemy conference in 10 days, I definitely won't bring shame to your name," Chu Ci said excitedly. That's good." Although he heard this, Lin Rei didn't have any expectations. After all, he didn't have any expectations for this kind of competition. If it wasn't for the fact that he needed the help of the Danzong sect, he wouldn't even have come back, let alone come here to verify his identity as an imperial-grade alchemist. "Say, S.E., my lord, this junior," just as Lin Rei and Chu Ci were talking, a submissive voice entered their ears. Instantly, their gazes fell on the girl. Looking at her, Lin Rei smiled and took the initiative to speak. "Little girl, I wonder if you're willing to be my servant and serve me?" Young master, you." Stunned. Stupefied. In that moment, as soon as Lin Li said those words, the girl was stupefied. The nearby Chu Ci was stupefied as well. This had happened so suddenly that Chu Ci wasn't mentally prepared at all. Moreover, he hadn't seen through Lin Rei's intentions before. "What? You don't want to?" Looking at her expression, Lin Rei was stunned for a moment before hurriedly tempting her. "If you become my maidservant, not only will you be able to rise above others, you will also become a respected alchemist. Your cultivation will also rise to a level that others can only look up to. Moreover, that's not all. Other than that, I can also guarantee that when you take me to the saints' world, I'll take you with me and let you enjoy eternal life." Speaking up to this point, Lin Rei himself became excited. In short, as long as she followed him, everything in the past would not happen. He would become a god that everyone revered. At this moment, Chu Ci, who had listened to the entire process, was so shocked that he was speechless. One had to know that even he didn't have to do this in the past. For a moment, he was envious of the person before him. Little girl, what are you hesitating for? This is such a good thing, why aren't you agreeing? You should know that this kind of thing doesn't happen all the time." Noticing the girl's hesitation, before Lin Li could say anything, Chu Ci hurriedly tried to dissuade her. Looking at Chu Ci, Lin Rei chuckled and nodded to the girl. His face was filled with gentleness. For a moment, the entire pill refining room fell silent. Lin Rei, Chu Ci, and the girl sank into silence. Lin Rei didn't rush the girl. After all, this was up to her willingness and couldn't be forced. As the saying goes, a forcibly picked melon won't be sweet. He didn't want to be treated as an unpardonable evil person. Dong dong dong, the silence was broken. The three of them looked at the door and saw that Lu Yu, who had left, had returned. The difference was that Lu Yu was holding a black robe with his hands raised. On the robe was a palm-sized guild leader with a large black cauldron engraved on it. At this moment, Lu Yu walked over to Lin Li with a respectful expression. He bowed and said, "Supreme Grade Alchemist of the Supreme Realm, this is your alchemist robe and your Supreme Grade Alchemist badge. Please keep it well. With this item, you can order any alchemist guild in the Divine Realm to work for you. They will work for you without any cost. I understand. Naturally, he knew these rules. After all, he had verified his identity as an alchemist in the past. After receiving the alchemist robe and the president's robe, he immediately put them away. He wouldn't wear these things for no reason. After doing all this, Lin Rei looked at Tianyu again and asked, "How is it, little girl? Have you thought it through? I don't have much time. If you have made your decision, come with me." "What?" Lu Yu looked at the girl enviously when he heard Lin Rei's words. At this moment, Lu Yu wished that he was the girl. Because then, she would be able to obtain the true teachings of an alchemist and become a top-notch alchemist. However, what surprised Lu Yu was that the girl was still as hesitant as before. It was as if there was something that made it difficult for her to make a decision. However, most people would beg and beg for such a good thing. However, she was like this now. "Hurry up and agree." Lu Yu, who was standing at the side, was also worried about Tianyu. He really couldn't understand why she would be so hesitant when such a good thing was in front of her. "Yes, agree. Young master doesn't accept people casually. The reason why he did this is because you are outstanding. So, agree." At this moment, Lu Yu and Chu Ci started to verbally attack her, but the girl didn't seem to be moved. She looked at Lin Rei in confusion. After a few minutes, the girl seemed to have made up her mind. She let out a long breath and said, "Sir, may I ask why you want me to be your servant?" Just like Chu Ci said, you have extraordinary talent and can become an alchemist. I don't want my gold to be covered in dust, so I want to take you in and teach you alchemy, magic, combat, assassination, and so on. Of course, there will be a reward." Looking at the girl, Lin Li chuckled, then continued, "If I had known, most likely in the entire divine realm, or perhaps even in the entire universe, I would be the only person capable of producing such an item. Every single item is capable of driving all deities and saints crazy, so, what is the reward?" She didn't care about Lin Rei's words. She only cared about what the reward was. That was all. Hearing this, Lin Rei was surprised. However, he quickly came back to his senses and said without hesitation, "When you have true strength, you must kill people for me. Kill those who threaten me. Of course, you will be my disciple, buy things for me, run errands, massage my back, and so on." The moment he said this, the confusion on the girl's face disappeared. In the blink of an eye, she smiled and said, I agree to be your servant." Saying this, the girl quickly bowed and said loudly, "Servant Tianyu greets young master." Good. Seeing her like this, Lin Rei smiled and took a step forward. When she wasn't paying attention, he grabbed her hand and prepared to leave. "But, senior, please wait." Hearing this, Lin Rei stopped. He didn't turn his head and didn't speak. Tianyu turned around and asked, "May I know why the president called for my young master?" Looking at the girl in front of him who was neither servile nor overbearing and was completely different from the submissive girl from before, Lu Yu was stunned. However, he quickly recovered and said, It's like this. I have been at the peak of the late divine monarch realm for 1,000 years. When I smelled the fragrance of the 9 revolutions profound pill, the shackles on me loosened a little. Moreover, with the special characteristics of the pill, I think I would like to ask for one from you. Of course, I am willing to exchange something of equal value for it. Senior, what do you think? Oh? What is it? Why don't you take it out and let me see? If it is really comparable to the 9 revolutions profound pill, then I would be more than happy to. At this time, it wasn't Tianyu who spoke but Lin Rei himself. After all, they didn't dare to make a decision on this matter. When Lu Yu heard Lin Rei's words, he quickly took out a stone that looked like an eye from his storage ring. Seeing this, Lin Rei frowned and couldn't help but reveal a look of suspicion. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.